Hi, hi everybody. So Rabbi,
Yeah.
I'm in a blizzard.
There you go.
Yeah,
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
I didn't say these helmets
recommend Head
remind
and
me
Shoulders.
of how skinny makes me feel.
Are you
Head and
receiving
shoulders
us?
from head to your toe? Something, head and shoulders. I don't even. Is that how it went?
Yes.
I
Yes,
don't
it
know how
is.
anything goes.
Oh, what's the name? The
anymore.
Gunverse saved, apparently.
I witnessed something horrifying this week too. A vocal track only of what Axl Rose sounds like singing live. Dear God. Oh, it's bad.
Oh.
He sounds like Mickey Mouse on crack.
Has it
Is
got
he somewhat
worse?
past his best?
Because when he did Glastonbury, fortunately they had sound problems, Chris, and okay, November Rain was all right, or September Rain, or I don't know. It rains in every month, so I get confused. But
this is beyond sound problems. I can try and do an imitation of what it sounded like if you.
No, that's okay.
Yes, please.
That's all right. No.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games and so forth.
Okay.
That's exactly what it sounded like. It was awful.
Oh,
I would buy that. I would buy that.
No, you wouldn't.
Leave it to the experts. Is what I say. Leave it to the experts always. Welcome to the jungle, everybody. If you've just joined us here on YouTube and Rumble, as ever, for your Saturday at 7 p.m. This is 7 p.m. is the new 8 p.m. here at the Spacebook Live. We've got a lot to talk about. There's been some real rattlings going on in the media over the last few days. I can't wait to hear what you guys have got to say about all of that. While we sort of limber up, there are people joining us already out there. It's good to see people clocking in and chilling out and putting their brains on standby. I suspect to listen to us ramble on for however long it's going to be.
I've got a great endorsement down, I have to tell you.
Well,
we're going to put you in a Angoma. There you go.
We'll style it out. We'll style it out, won't we? Yes. So we got a show for you. Have we got a conversation for you? We're going to do some showing and some telling, some exploring, some griping. I don't doubt for a minute.
And more singing if you want.
Yeah, let us know there in the live chat, YouTube and Rumble. More singing, yes or no. We could put a poll in the live chat, couldn't we? That could be a thing.
I'm a little teapot.
I'm pleased you put that picture of George Lucas up there, because when I was watching England's complete capitulation in the cricket this morning from Australia, they had a load of stormtroopers in, and then they played the Darth Vader march theme tune with the trumpet, and Darth Vader was walking down the steps at the Gabba waving to everybody. Then they cut to a point when England were doing exceptionally badly later in the day, where they showed a Chewbacca downing a pint of lager, which was absolutely, that was one thing I've never seen before, and I never want to see again, quite frankly, because it did not go well.
Did it go about as well as this?
Yeah. And there was also about a 30 stone. And there was also a 30. Australia are beating England very comprehensively, but there was also a 30 stone, heavily hairy man that was old, dressed up as Princess Leia in the bikini outfit, which was also something you just could not unsee. Okay,
that guy should be deported.
So,
yeah, I don't care where he's from.
From Australia.
His nationality, ethnicity, or anything. Just wherever he is now, get rid of him. To Mars, preferably.
You just could not unsee it. You could not unsee it.
You could treat it as an early Christmas present. You know, we're nearly there, aren't we? Getting to the Christmas.
Those were
and we're just cancelled.
In for a penny, in for a pound. That's what I always say. There's more than
a pound
Christmas.
Or two. Dan, it's happy holidays.
No,
what year was that? What year was that TV
Christmas?
Times?
What year was that TV Times? I think it was 73, 74.
What an awesome time to be alive. Yeah. I mean, like, that best Christmas ever. Right there.
Yeah,
looks fantastic.
He looks
TV
very
Times.
happy.
He was, well, yeah. It was all going on in real life between Sid and Barbara. I think that he pegged out in '76. So yeah, it was after their relationship, but he had a reasonably good innings.
Just before I was born, so I like to think I'm Sid James reincarnated, but obviously I don't have as much luck as he did with the ladies.
Sid James is one of my favorite Jews, right? I'm so proud of him being Jewish. Yes.
Do that one week.
That's a pull quote if I've ever heard one.
I think I'd like, your top 10 Jews would be.
Jews. Oh, well, okay, one that was fictional. It'll be what's his name? Tom Hardy's Jewish gangster in Peaky Blinders, right? I want a movie of that character. He's awesome.
I thought you were talking about real life Jews.
I'll go read it. I mean, that was just Bugsy Siegel, I guess. I'm kind of, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Bugsy Siegel is Jewish.
So have we recovered from last week and the nightmares of watching Legend again after 40 years? Did everybody sleep all right after that?
I've seen much worse. It was in all seriousness, it wasn't terrible.
No, it was terrible.
Okay, yes, the plot, but it was beautifully shot. I have to give it that.
Okay,
it looked very nice. Say what?
It was beautifully shot. Awful shit.
Well, no, it had a plot.
Yeah, but talking about such an interesting vision of such a huge filmmaker is never a waste of time.
No, and it was something that I had never seen before. And
that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Right.
But like in terms of like being good because it's like beautifully shot and put together. So's Rebel Moon, right? And that's I tried so hard.
That's not beautifully shot. That's modern day digital crap.
No, but it looks like it's very nice eye candy. Or was it Sucker Punch? It looks gorgeous, right? Is it any good? No, shit. Right, but I mean that is the curse of Zack Snyder, right? Has he been denied the keys to the DC verse again? I know. I guess we'll find out tonight. I have no idea what the scoop.
Well, it's a bad day to be James Gunn, but we'll get into that.
We've got
later.
all the details coming up in a moment. We've got a live chat filling up very, very nicely here with Stephen O'Neill. He's joined us there from Wigan. We've got the Darren Zone, all the way from the Darren Zone, which is at a secret location in Wales, which we couldn't possibly disclose.
It's pretty dang.
Funky is in too. So is Rose Kirby. She's counting down. You are very wise to count down, young lady, because we're gonna blast off in a second with all sorts of talk. Randy Howell is in too, saying hello, Randy, and we've got Davies in as well. Going to talk some Thunderbirds later, and Funky simply says physical media must survive. Oh my word, we're going to explore all of that as we get into it all.
We will survive.
First of all, we do like to give you life lessons here. Of course we do. And I find that the best person to dispense them is our very own Chris over there, in line with the teachings of TV times past, when they used to tell us things that were pretty useful, and explain how to avoid sort of everyday disasters that could sort of happen to anybody. Luckily, the television was on standby there to let us know where the pitfalls were. I think Canada seems to have a better handle on this than most, or certainly a more avant-garde way of keeping us all safe. Chris, and what have you got for us this week as our icebreaker?
Hello, everyone. Who's excited?
I'm very excited.
I am.
Okay. So, as you know, I've been on a mission to shame various Canadian provinces. So this week we're going to shame the province of Saskatchewan. We'll call this the province nobody knows exists. Also, one of the two provinces one of the three provinces that wants to leave Canada right now, but that's a whole other story. So today we're going to get another lesson in driving and things that we should or shouldn't do. And here we also learn that even when a Karen is being very annoying, as they can be, sometimes through that annoyance, there is good advice. Sometimes. So take the advice, tell her to go away. But in this case, you should take the Karen's advice. You'll all see what I'm talking about shortly. So, Dan, take us off to the province of Saskatchewan.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Wow.
Bit dramatic.
Excuse me, aren't you putting on the
Where's Jeff Capes?
Die, father,
At
die!
50 kilometers per hour.
What an
Simon
idiot.
is throwing forward at a force 35 times his weight.
Whoa!
A 658 kilo cannonball. Imagine an adult.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our lesson today is when
You
Karen
ran
tells you to put on the
pretty
seatbelt.
good.
Yes, you could tell Karen to screw off for being a Karen, but put on your seatbelt, or your son will turn into a cannonball that can kill you.
I think
thought-
it kills him as well. And what's the deal with the guy in the green hat? Is
That's-
this like, is he the Batman?
That was Sid James.
It's about. It's about
I think the
Oh,
lesson is don't drive with kids in the car.
Well, I don't. So that was
one of the
I
issues.
think it's trying to tell you.
One of the issues I have with this is that surely if you're heading towards another car, you would brake.
Yes.
But still, the cannonball would be fired. But maybe it's the fact that a child with a baseball glove actually is the danger in there, because of course the baseball glove could cause some nasty injuries owing to its hardness as well. But yes, he should have securely fastened his child before he got into the car.
Chris, is there a follow-up ad to this, like that takes place like 20 years later, where that kid is in lifelong therapy?
I think the implication is that the kid and the father are dead.
Yeah,
Oh,
the kid's
really?
dead. The kid's dead, man.
Yeah,
No,
the kid
Really?
the kid's
Okay.
dead.
He's dead.
He did not survive being a cannonball. So
Zed's
Okay.
dead, baby. Zed's dead.
I
So
thought
the-
that the dad like buffered him.
no,
No.
they're both dead. It was a
They're
very not fun family outing.
Wow.
But there's a moral to this story, folks. Don't have kids because they'll kill you.
Yes.
Still,
So for next
better
week,
than Legends, right? But still better than Legends.
so next week is our Christmas
What-
week, right, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so before we go, I'm going to set the stage for what I have planned next week. It's a fun family evening. It's Christmas Eve. We're getting ready for Santa. We're making some turkey. We're playing board games, maybe doing a puzzle, watching fireplaces on the TV. What could possibly happen? You know, maybe I'm just about to hoodwink y'all here, and there won't be any tragedy. It'll just be a nice, fun family video with questionable acting. So I'll leave you with that. So the question is, what is going to happen to this family next week? Or is anything going to happen?
Can I say?
They may be fine.
Can I suggest carbon monoxide poisoning from not having their chimney swept?
No, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be like Phoebe Cates' dad in Gremlins. He's going to get stuck in the chimney.
Well, we'll have to find
I'm
out.
just
Again,
thinking
nothing might happen. Nothing might happen at all. It just might be a rare Canadian ad, a PSA, where the message is Christmas is a fun time with family. Exactly. Captain Picard agrees.
I don't know if I trust you, Chris, but we're in for a penny and for a pound. We're in it for the duration. And yeah, why not? Let's just go with it. Let's start the show proper, shall we? And give them a blast of the good stuff and open up our discussion. A lot to get into.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yes, it's the Spacebook Live International Out There Entertainment on YouTube and on Rumble for Saturday, the 6th of December 2025 and beyond. I'm here with a far out panel, as always. We've taken somewhat of a detour here to Lapland. We've got a Chewbacca on board as well, David. So I don't know if it's the same one that you saw, Danny. What was it, a pint?
It looks like a pint of lager. However, it was slightly weirdly yellow coloured. So I'm not quite sure if somebody had given him something else to drink. Yes. So
We've been a sample.
The reason why the reason why I said it was a Chewbacca is because there was about 4 of them sitting in a row. So there was the Chewbacca family at the cricket.
That sounds like the sort of thing my mom, when I was a kid, and my mom would like ask me about, you know, the various creatures in the sci-fi that I was watching. That's a robot. That's a this. That's a skeleton, and that's a Chewbacca. The big hairy bloke is a Chewbacca.
The best review I ever heard of Buffy the Vampire Slayer was Jew Broad kills Draculas. It doesn't get any better. But that planet you were showing was from the show that may not be named. Clearly Androzani Major, right, from the Christmas special a few years ago.
Well, that is going to be mentioned quite a bit, I think, on this edition of the show, because it's destiny, certainly in one format or another, does lie not in the stars, or not those kind of stars, but certainly in jeopardy, I believe. Obviously, there's a lot going on in geeky pop culture, and that's where we come in. We do the best we can for men, all men this time, of a certain age, to keep track of it all wherever it is generating and to try and work out where any of it could be going. We've got people there in the live chat dropping comments already. Lots of people arriving as we speak, including our mate Problem Being. He's dropped in. So has Peter Harrington. Eastland Burkholder's in too. We've got Graham. I've seen Graham. There's Graham. There's our Graham. There he is. Graham, that was still a black, wasn't it? So you know the general gist of it. Yes, so keep them coming, everybody, and hold tight. We've got a lot to talk about. Obviously, okay, we've gathered together here in the flight deck, I suppose you could say, to embark on a very specific mission. There's myself. There's Mr. Gary Akers here with his Batman cap on this time too. So
that's
sort
right.
of on brand, on topic.
I'm going full superheroes today, baby.
Oh, there you go.
Justice League.
An army of them from the satellite era. That was
right.
We've got the rabbi from another planet here, the legend, the HooTube legend himself, as always.
You know, Gary, I was just looking at your T-shirt, and it wouldn't be cool to have a comic book like in classic 70s, but like a gritty 1980s character like broke through into that reality, right? And maybe the Batman from that reality. Okay, the Batman from Dark Knight Returns. Like it sucked into that reality, and that
there you go.
Into Dark Knight Returns. That'd be crazy. I'd love to see that.
I do like it when Marvel and DC have done this a time or two with it, where they've taken sort of disparate characters from different universes and jammed them together. And Marvel did it with a series called Exiles for a time, and I think DC did it a couple of years ago. They put Rip Hunter together with like Booster Gold and Batmite and people like that. It was quite a fun idea. I didn't bother reading it.
Yeah, in the 90s, they had a few of those mashups.
Yeah, I like all that stuff. I sincerely do. So yes, where were we? The head count. We've got Mr. David Milling sporting a very natty Christmas jumper there, my friend.
There you go. I'll try and show you. It's of the London skyline and everything like that. So, and there's where's the post box? The post box is obviously down here as well.
Wow!
And,
I thought that was a Dalek.
Dan a better picture. Yes, so did I. I did send Dan a better picture that hopefully might be able to get put up throughout the evening, because I don't do it justice when I'm wearing it. But it was a bargain. It was £12 from Asda about 4 years. Not 4 years. About 8 years ago.
Well with that. Yeah.
It looks stunning. Amazing. You wear it beautifully, my friend. So thank you for making the effort.
Yeah.
and last, but by no means least, the one and only, the mighty Bowles Trek, expert on all things physical media, and one of the best known voices, I think, in several fandoms, the notorious Chris here. So yeah, and funny enough, Chris, it was you I thought of first when I saw this story break. I think we got to get right into it, because it all connects, doesn't it? We've gathered here in the wake of a considerable alteration to the pop culture landscape, and probably entertainment as we know it, certainly as men of a particular vintage. But I think this affects multiple sort of generations, really, because things are about to shift really quite dramatically over the next year or 18 months with the acquisition of what many have termed the best movie studio in the world by Netflix. Netflix seems to have succeeded in buying Warner Brothers lock, stock. Now, we've been talking about this a little over the last 2 or 3 weeks because there were a lot of bidders out there when I think CBS, Comcast, they wanted it, Paramount wanted it, Paramount really wanted it, but they weren't alone. There was a lot of bids out there for it, but Netflix broke the news yesterday over on their social medias with this short statement. Today, Netflix announced our acquisition of Warner Brothers. Together, we'll define the next century of storytelling, creating an extraordinary entertainment offering for audiences everywhere. Short, sweet, a lot of big talk there, a lot of great claims, but this has sent quakes through everybody working in the media, whether it's the big screen or the small screen, and my God, I can see why. It's difficult to know where to start, Chris, but when you saw this story break, did you gasp as I did? Because I didn't think Netflix would clinch it, even with a bid of 82 billion, sorry, they're paying for Warner Brothers if this goes through.
Well, yeah, this is the worst case scenario. Now it hasn't been approved yet, and we'll probably get into that later. There are very valid cases against this. And the way it was handled, Netflix pretty much stole this from Paramount at the last minute. It was very clear that Warner Brothers did not want to sell to Skydance. So backtracking, this started a few months ago when Paramount, well, specifically Skydance, had forwarded the idea to purchase Warner Brothers. Had this happened, even though I would rather see these two companies remain independent, had that happened, honestly, it would have been fine. I think the main change you would have noticed with Warner Brothers is the logo would say Warner Brothers, a Skydance company.
Gotcha.
This is catastrophic, and it's not exaggeration to say that this could be the end of both theatrical films or the film experience in theaters, and this could very well be the end of physical media. The CEO of Netflix is basically on record that he believes theaters are outdated and physical media is outdated and nothing but clutter. And to put it in perspective, after Disney, Warner is the biggest studio. In terms of streaming networks or streaming services, it is number 3 behind Netflix and Disney Plus. So this is not good. And we've learned lessons from the Disney acquisition of Fox 6 years ago now. Most of the classic Fox films, especially the old black and white films, have basically been erased from existence. They've been locked into the Disney vault. It's only some of the big features, big name brand, more recent stuff that gets any attention whatsoever. And I warned of this 6 years ago that this would, I think, with many of the gentlemen that I'm speaking to right now on a stream in 2019, that if this could lead to very bad things. But Netflix is a horrible company. How many shows have they canceled? They don't care about quality. Also, in terms of DEI and the woke mind virus, they might be the biggest offender, possibly even worse than Disney. But the ripple on effect. So they own Game of Thrones, they own the Harry Potter movies, they own Lord of the Rings on film, or will own Lord of the Rings on film. They will own all of DC. So sorry, James Gunn, you're pretty much done. They will own several game studios, which they want to turn into mobile games for phones. So that's not good. The theatrical, they've stated they are going to shorten windows for theaters down to 2 weeks before it goes straight to streaming. And Warner is probably the biggest player in non-crap movies. They also own, if you look, most of the really good horror movies that aren't A24 or Neon in the past few years that have come out have been Warner Brothers. Netflix will also own the Conjuring universe, Looney Tunes, like the list. If you look at what Warner Brothers actually holds, the list is insane. And in terms of physical,
Chris, since the changeover at the top of Warner Brothers, which I think was about 4 or 5 years ago, when David Zaslav took over, they have increased their share market value by about 70 to 75%. So Zaslav has turned Warner Brothers around from being a failing studio to being something that was worth someone buying, investing in, and potentially carrying its sort of legacy forward. But I agree. I think probably the worst custodians you could possibly imagine for such a venture would be Netflix, because their streaming track record of late hasn't been terribly good, is it?
Well, it's not just the streaming, because I know everybody here and a lot of people watching the stream right now, we're all fans of physical media. I don't think I can understate or overstate, I should say, how bad this is, and how this, because of events in the physical media landscape over a few years, this could be the domino that tips. And I know later today, we're going to be doing our physical media pickups. I sent Dan a bunch of pictures, and it's just coincidental, but most of my pickups are Warner Brothers movies. They also, if you like BBC content in North America, not so much the new stuff, but the classic stuff, that is handled by Warner Brothers. If this goes through, good luck getting the final seasons of Blake 7 over here. You'll have to import them and get a region-free player, not to mention that British show, which shall not be named. Good luck getting the last of those in Region 1, because that is distributed through Warner. Outside of the top three companies for physical media now, if we take Scream Shout Factory out because they're basically done. Number one is Arrow in terms of quality. Number two is Vinegar Syndrome. Number three is Warner Brothers. And also Warner Archive, which on its own is a boutique label. Warner Archive is, after 2026, they're done. Arrow Video, which is now the largest of the boutique labels, this could end Arrow as well, because the deal that they have right now, most of the releases in the pipeline and most of the major releases that have come out are because of a deal with Warner Brothers. I could only think of maybe two this year that weren't Warner Brothers movies. So this,
and you could say, Chris, that okay, so that's one label, that's one studio, this is one brand, this is a small market, but this will have a knock-on effect in due course, I think. So when you look over to, you think of Warner's Archive as being kind of the most mainstream of the kind of boutique line of titles, but you line that up next to the kind of titles that in recent months and years that Hammer have started putting out regarding their back catalogue of movies, boutique titles. We've got Anderson Entertainment just venturing into that with, so they've put out 2 releases so far, high-end box sets, which are like pre-ordered wildly in advance. And then there's the long-running series of Doctor Who releases too. None of this stuff will be safe long-term when the market is going to be destabilized by such a massive move as the biggest streaming platform buying the biggest movie studio and holder of the largest back catalogue probably of entertainment anywhere in the world.
Could I be a contrary voice here? Because I'm not really seeing the doom and gloom, right? I think it's like financially viable, it's financially viable. And then so if people will pay for something, they will want to benefit from their investment, right? They're paying what, 84 billion? They're getting all the HBO stuff. They're getting an incredible catalog for their streaming service. But if physical media, it is going to be a hit for physical media, right? But so you go into it'll become a fan thing where you like self-print your own labels and like make it like that. I do that anyway now, right? I mean, like for Star Wars movies, like the Kai Peterson cut of Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's the real Star Wars to me.
I think the danger is, Rabbi, that if it does survive, it'll start to become cost prohibitive because they won't produce them at any kind of numbers. And that idea of sort of waiting at the door for that delivery from Amazon of the latest box set, waiting for it to arrive and then taking a picture, popping it on social media. I've got mine. All that culture will go. That's what I think it's pointing towards.
I don't know. Again, it's. I think it's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to say it's all over. It's all about and put everything.
Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily this. I would say if you're a physical media fan, this is the latest in a number of hits. And I have to eat crow. I have to take back what I said a year ago, saying nothing will happen. Physical media as of 2024 ceased to become a bill. It was no longer $1 billion industry. It's now just under $1 billion, and it's shrinking again this year.
Right.
The physical media landscape, like the one company that supported it more than anything else was Warner, followed by Paramount. Sony and Lionsgate suck. Now they just put out overpriced steelbooks. And Fox is basically locked away in a vault, and the less said about Disney, the better.
Buy a black and white TV.
Because Fox's back catalogue, Rabbi, does seem to have disappeared. Bits of it sort of drops out here and there.
This is what happens. Things go extinct. If you want it, buy it. Right? But things don't. Nothing has a right to exist forever. In terms of the physical media industry, I think it's healthy enough that it will finish off the Doctor Who collection. Right, and the Blake 7 collection. I think things like that are simply financially viable, so they will survive. Right.
You see, the Doctor Who releases are a very how can I put this? Atypical example. They've been running for a long period of time, so you'd think, well, surely they must be safe, but and even though they have been a hit. They've been running for 7, coming up to 8 years now, and there's still years worth of releases. They put out, say, 2 of those a year, Gary. So, and there's still about 8 seasons
about 4
left.
Years worth to go. There's about 4 years worth to go.
You think of what's happened in the last 2 years. A hell of a lot could happen in the next 4. And everybody that I've interviewed, several key people involved with BBC Studios and those releases over the years have always made it very clear to me that despite the fact they have the ambition for the whole range to be completed and they do work on multiple releases at a time, that they can't think and plan too far in advance because the physical media landscape has altered and shrunk that drastically. There are no guarantees that range is going to be completed.
Fine. So let's say it dries up. Let's say the physical media dries up. It'll be a fan thing, and fans will do it. They already do it now. Look, they have the cut down Sea Devils coming on tomorrow night. I know we're not supposed to be, right? But I was like, 90 minutes long. We're all like, So I was watching the Cunning Monkey one, who does his re-edits of and puts new effects on of the Sea Devils, and there are 2 episodes at 48 minutes each, right? And it's going along. I'm about halfway through the first episode. It's nipping. It's really getting all the story, and it's going along nicely. So maybe we were wrong, right? Maybe we were wrong to poo-poo the. But the point is this. Fans will just do it. That's what's going to happen. We'll be able to figure out
it's having the thing is though, Rabbi, it's having the inclination and knowing where to go to find it. The idea that people can just sort of look up, is Blake 7 Series 3 available on DVD? Check on Amazon, order the box set. It's Uncle Phil's birthday. He used to love that. Whack, birthday sorted. Forget about it.
It's going to take about 10 years for it to die. Right, it's going to take 10 years to really roll over and die. That's because people just have the players. People have bought them. People have a culture of
players break.
Players,
they do.
People have a culture of it. Unless it's being offered in another format, it will be delivered in physical media. I mean, that's just what's going to happen.
But see, Rabbi, the issues with that, with people making their own releases. It's only a very niche group that would have any interest in doing that.
Yeah. Well,
I know myself.
I have all my needs taken care of. Like I'm getting 4K Battlestar Galactica. It's not official release, but it's fantastic, right? I'm getting all my needs taken care of.
That's perfectly fine. But a lot of people we value the actual official.
No, I understand. I'm saying you're not being happy about it. But the fact is, like media moves on. You can't get wireless sets anymore, right? You can't get episodes of The Shadow, right? Maybe you could. I don't know. Yeah, you can't get sometimes it's hard to find the Carry On movies or. Things go out of print. What do you want? It's what happens.
Well, it's not just the media itself, Rabbi. There's 2 elements to this. There's the media itself and the players to play it on. You can't even get burnable DVDs burnable Blu-ray discs because those have been discontinued. If that's the way you want it to go,
right.
But the other issue is
I think the rabbi is making a valid argument in sort of defense of this. But what's your thoughts, David? I mean, I'm pretty horrified. I think I'm really worried as a collector and as a fan. And Chris clearly is too. The rabbi feels differently. Where are you sitting with this?
I'm leaning towards. I hear what the rabbi is saying. Absolutely wonderful. If there are people, and if he's getting 4K versions, that's amazing. However, it takes away a sort of merger like this takes away the choice from the people who want to get online, go to Amazon, and for ease, give Uncle Phil, who might not be of a generation who has streaming. They might have low quality internet. They might live in an area of where there's poor Wi-Fi, so they're not able to stream. Which there are still large areas of the UK with Wi-Fi issues. The physical media aspect of it, it's a convenience to say to somebody who may struggle with this, or simply do not want to pay $7.99 a month to have adverts streamed with their movies. They may not want to pay that. They may prefer, like Chris, like myself, like you, Dan, like Gary, like Matt, who's obviously on the Thursday show that we don't mention, who like to buy and have something. I'm a massive vinyl collector. I've got loads of CDs. I've got a massive music collection. And I see this as a bit of a point whereby we were with music when the iPods and MP3s came out. There was a massive turning away from physical media for music. After a while,
those companies are awful to us.
Yeah.
David, the point is we're dying.
Well, hang on. What happens? What happens?
We're dying.
But the thing is, I know. But the thing is, after what I'm about to say is that after a while, the younger generation just went, hang on a minute, I want something to touch. I want something to look at. I want of actual tangible product for the money I'm spending. So this is why that if you go into an HMV now, they are outstripping. That it's back to how it was in 1982. There's wall-to-wall vinyl. They are selling record players like there's no tomorrow. Most of which I wouldn't buy myself because I'm a bit dubious about the quality. And so for a merger for this to happen, whereby you are not only will it kill physical media or have a massive impact on it, and take away that option and that choice, not just for me who's a collector, but for my wife who's a normie and wants to buy her mum something on DVD because
my point is
it's easier for
that market because obviously strangely enough, DVD is still the biggest selling physical media for visual. It's certainly in Britain.
Absolutely.
We've got a comment here in the live chat, Gary, and I wanted to ask you about this. So we've got our friend Lee here, problem being himself, says if Warner Brothers hadn't pumped out utter bilging garbage over the past decade and made more relentlessly stupid decisions, this wouldn't have happened. Is this Warner Brothers' fault? Because as I understand it, my belief is that Warner Brothers is worth considerably more now than it was a few years ago, and they've had some pretty big hits, and that's probably why this has happened. But is this actually Warner's fault, and I've got it the wrong way around?
Well,
I don't think so.
First of all, I think we all have to remember that this is a long way from actually being confirmed. I mean, they're going to be Paramount at the very least is going to be bringing up like massive antitrust issues. The DGA, Christopher Nolan, has already come out as massively against this, and he's going to be rallying all the directors in the DGA against this.
I think I've got a quote. Is that this, Gary? So that's the Directors Guild of America there. We've got a quote from them. We will be meeting with Netflix to outline our concerns and better understand their vision for the future of the company. That's a very conservative statement. But
that's a nice sounding statement, but they are rabidly against this. And ironically, this may be the one thing that actually gets Trump and Hollywood on the same side.
You're right. You're 100% right.
So, because all this thing is not going to happen if it gets up to, the White House level, and Trump just decides not to approve this merger. Then it's dead.
Trump heavily favors the Paramount Saudi deal. Heavily.
Well, he hates Netflix, just based on DEI alone. But Gary's
Netflix
right.
has
Like
a
this,
strong financial connection with the Obamas. Jack Pizabet was talking about it. Now, look, this. Why I'm not bothered by it, I can totally see this still being spiked by Trump, right? 100%. It's a cultural war issue.
Rabbi, the Writers Guild of America are also objecting as well. Industry workers, along with the public, are already impacted by only a few powerful companies maintaining tight control over what consumers can watch on television, on streaming, and in theaters. They're insisting here this merger must be blocked. So that's the WGA as well, lining up with exactly what you've just said. Rabbi.
Yeah, this is not
easy and bought. You don't know how easy and bought that having The Sopranos on Netflix. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm bought very easily, right? And that does the trick for me, right? I have the entire HBO catalog on Netflix. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm up for all the superhero, Warner Brothers superhero stuff. Yeah, I love that convenience. I mean, honestly, I don't.
Yeah, but this is not a matter of just crossing some legal I's and dotting some legal T's. Like I said, when you have these massive, like right here, SAG-AFTRA, the Directors Guild, the Writers Guild. Trump personally probably doesn't want this to happen. So all he can do is say, no, we don't approve the merger, and it's dead. So, and even if none of those roadblocks were there, and Paramount, like I said, is going to be absolutely pushing the antitrust issues. Even if all of that wasn't there, just legally, this wouldn't happen for at least a year anyway, even without all these roadblocks.
Year and a half. Well, I think
I just want to say, as far as the physical media end of it, I don't think that it's a case of, let's say, Paramount got it. Paramount hasn't been exactly the forefront of, physical media for the last few years anyway. So it's basically, it's not as if like Paramount great for physical media, Warner's bad for physical media. What's funny is that one of the reasons why Paramount is so like rabid right now and ready to fight, apparently, according to the New York Post, they lost their bid by just 75 cents.
I was reading that
literally at the last minute.
Yeah,
and this is there's so many legal issues here.
One last thing that I want to mention, because I know it's an aspect of this story that's near and dear to Dan's and my heart, which is DC Comics itself. I don't think Netflix would have any interest in, in this huge publishing division.
I can't hear Gary. What were we saying? Sorry, Gary.
Well, no, I was going to say that I don't think Netflix would have any interest in maintaining an ongoing, publishing division. That's not their wheelhouse. What I think might happen is, reducing DC Comics basically to just like an IP maintainer, a core group of people who can maintain, the IPs, for whatever movies or TVs. I don't think
Matthew Pounder asked about DC Comics specifically in the live chat, not DC Studios, DC Comics.
Right.
And I thought, oh my God, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. Maintaining a comics publisher is not in the business model for Netflix. It has nothing to do with streaming, has nothing to do with franchise, producing, streamable.
Because DC
content.
Comics has started to turn around its fortunes in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Streets ahead now of Marvel, who haven't started recovering at all. In fact, they're digging a far, far deeper hole. So this could potentially snap DC out of that recovery and send them into, just as you said, into being a very marginalized part of an enormous group in the way that Marvel Comics now is in reflection of Disney.
Well, I don't honestly. I think there's the kind of roadblocks we're already seeing in a matter of days as the weeks and months and this
In a
next
day.
year goes on, I honestly don't think this is going to end up happening.
Well, that's and this
agree.
is based on the research I've done as well, Gary, because it is. There's two major issues. One is the way this was handled and the way Paramount was undercut at the last minute, but also in terms of FCC approval. You're looking at the number 1 and number 3 streaming companies merging, which would give Netflix more than a 30% share, which runs them into the area of antitrust monopoly.
Right.
Also, this will bring down, I'd say very likely, not guaranteed, but very likely, this will also bring down multiple industries. This will be devastating to film. It will be devastating to physical media. It will be devastating to I think DC is still the second largest comic company. I'm like, it's just like they'd be bigger than Disney. I'm like, it's like Warner was the last behemoth of the traditional studios. Like the other ones, Sony, Paramount, Lionsgate, Universal, are all significantly smaller than Warner. So it's like, and you have the entire Trump administration is against this. Trump hates Netflix. People on the left and the right, like, I have not seen, nobody is happy about this. Like nobody. I don't know how many articles I've read, how many videos I've watched. Everybody says this is a disaster. Now, my concern is physical media. It's such a small part of this because it's a very, very, very niche industry at this point. Physical media for the most part isn't in the grander discussion, except for people like us who know what's going to happen. At the top of the discussion is theaters. Also, there's the lesson of what happened with Fox. Over a century of entertainment has been buried. The only reason you can still get a lot of these on DVD or Blu-ray is because they were physically manufactured before the acquisition. If you buy your DVD of I don't know, whatever you want, of some apparently a lot of Marilyn Monroe movies are gone. Like, oh, I still got Marilyn Monroe movie. I can't name it offhand, but I still got. I'm like, yeah, look at it. It's marketed as 20th Century Fox. It was manufactured before 2019. It's out of print. All those Fox movies have been sent into the vault. And look at Netflix. They don't have much earlier than 1990. Warner Brothers is a century old. This is going to go, not even go to the vault. They just don't care. You'll never see it again. If it's not profitable, it's done. Everything released by Warner Archive, they don't care about that. That's very niche. Like, goodbye, have fun. Literally the only way you'll be able to get a lot of this stuff is by putting on your pirate hat. It goes beyond physical media. It's we can say doom and gloom, but in terms of what this does for film history, film culture, I'm like, yes, most of what they've made in the last decade is dog shit. They've been around for a century. We're talking thousands, tens of thousands of classic films. Their entire black and white catalog, Netflix has no interest in that. They're not gonna waste the server space on even making it available. This ultimately, this can't go through. I would rather see Warner Brothers as an independent, but I still think Skydance is the best option. I'm like, if we want to look at physical media, Skydance, not great, not catastrophic, but not great. Netflix, it's done. They have no interest.
These are things, Chris, that I never thought would change in my lifetime, to be honest, which is probably naive of me, but Paramount, the Skydance Paramount thing is less than, I think it's about 6 months ago, never mind a year ago. And there was the Disney and Fox thing, and there's been other decks being shuffled constantly. I've lost track of who owns what, the various hands that Warner Brothers alone has been through in the last decade, less than a decade. And it seems that things never stop shifting, but they're always heading in the one direction. Things seem to be being funneled towards one of two streaming services, platforms, in the form of Amazon and Netflix. Gradually, it's all heading there. And I agree with what the people from the Writers Guild said there about limiting people's choice and who controls so much of what we consume. I think that's a genuine concern. And whilst I'm all for the BBC, for example, in Britain, they should be forced to. They need to be stripped of that license fee model of funding. They need to compete, but that would also mean that places, bodies, institutions like the BBC and any others internationally would also be potentially up for being bought, being completely owned by such a body as a Netflix or an Amazon
LinkedIn. Or Facebook.
Yeah, LinkedIn buys everything.
Well, and another thing, Dan, with this whole thing that Chris mentioned about Netflix already coming out and crowing about how they want theatrical runs to be 2 weeks and then it's going to go to streaming.
Apparently.
There's no way in the next, tell me what you think, Chris, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to hear from the theater owners of America, coming out rabidly against this.
Well, I think there's also a reason this was done on a Friday. If you wanted to deliver catastrophic news, and this is catastrophic news, anybody who knows anything about the work world, you do it on a Friday, because a lot of statements will not come out until the Monday. Theater owners, I'm like, okay, so who's going to pay their $50 to go see a movie when they know it's going to be on Netflix in 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I'm like, no, I'm a person, I used to go to the theater every week for probably close to 20 years. Me and my friends would go every Tuesday on a cheap night. I only go a few times a year now, partly because I don't have the time.
Chris, I've been meaning to go to the cinema to see the latest Predator movie for 3 weeks.
Right, look. If I may, I couldn't give a shit. Genuinely, I couldn't. I'm like it that they're coming out in 2 weeks. Look, cinema should have been a low-cost entertainment form for working people. That's what it was supposed to be. Now it's $50 for a night out. It's freaking ridiculous. And they just give you relentless shit. This is what they made. This is the world they made, and they did it in response because they saw this was coming. The heat death of that this form of entertainment is here. Right,
I can't argue with that. I've been complaining about the price of seeing the movie
there
for
is that.
years.
So things are going to change. That's the bottom line. Things are going to change. I do think there's a desire for a cinema experience, but maybe cinemas will a cinema chain will be bought up by Netflix and you can, or Amazon, right? And you can go for free, and you're just paying for with your Amazon Prime, and you just pay for the drinks and the snacks, which is where they make the money anyway.
Yeah. But Peter
Harrington is asking here. We've got a question here from Peter Harrington who says, can anybody tell him? Tell me, does anyone? I can't read this. Can someone tell me? Oh, now Disney has Fox. Do they still use that amazing 20th century icon of music? Yeah. Or is that dead and buried?
Yeah, they do, but they had to edit it. It's now called 20th Century Studios. The reason for that is they didn't buy all of Fox. Under part of Fox News and the Fox Television Network still exists as a separate company. So you still have the iconic logo, but since 2019, it's been called 20th Century Studios.
I was just really quickly going to say to
Rich simply says net dicks. Yeah, I'm just trying to catch up with a couple of comments because we've got some people chiming in here, and Lord Thop says these are good points that the rabbi is raising. Yeah, is raising here, Gary.
No, I'm not saying Rabbi is not making good points. I just wanted to point out that with streaming, we have to remember, we can't buy those $20 limited edition popcorn buckets on streaming.
Have you ever bought one of those?
There's a demand for the cinema experience.
Yeah,
and I think again the business model is going to have to change. It needs to change the last decade.
Rabbi, here's because I think it's actually good that we have two different perspectives on this, and we've all you're more into the digital, just streaming model. I think definitely me, Gary, and Dan. And probably David are still more into the physical thing. But here's the issue with that. It's a question of choice. And the way you do it is perfectly fine. You choose to do that. That's perfectly valid. I think the issue is those of us that like the physical disc, and I said physical media is still a very small part of this whole debacle. But those of us who want the physical disc want to own it, we no longer have that option. So that choice.
I get it, and it sucks. but like it's just what it is.
I mean,
like, look, for me, I always just I keep I digitize everything. When I buy like the Blake 7 set, the Doctor Who set, I rip it all and put it all onto. I have it on 2 hard drives, right? So it's backed up on both, and one's connected to my TV and one's connected to my computer.
And you're probably the majority now. Like, well, in terms of you don't need the physical disc.
Look, kids today, kids stream it. They don't have anything. They stream everything. Kids are not interested in any form of storage, like none whatsoever.
It's a generational thing, and yes, physical media probably will die out with the millennials, which is the last.
It's like that movie, the one where nobody had any kids for like 20 years. Last of Men.
Children of Men. Yeah, so for people who are joining us late, yeah, we're talking about the fact that Netflix look set to acquire Warner Brothers, one of the world's oldest movie studios, considered the most prestigious in the world, and this is causing massive upset across the whole of TV and film right now. It's believed that it will affect in time everything, and this will be seen as a seismic event and moment. Like a lot of people, I was wondering, are we going to get some statements about whatever? Because it's a long way into the future. According to CEO of Netflix, Ted Sarandos, he said, "We're saving Hollywood. We're in a period of transition." Folks who grew up thinking, "I want to make movies on a gigantic screen and have strangers watch them play in a theater for 2 months," and it's an outdated concept. This guy's said, which I don't know if it's an outdated concept. It's an old concept, but I believe that people still enjoy that experience. You're quite right, Rabbi. It has evolved, and I think they have taken their audience for granted. I think they have inflated prices. My mind did go to the DC Studios question too. You've talked a lot about DC Studios, the huge success of the Superman movie, which I was certainly relieved by. I was very gratified by that, and obviously,
it was great. Yeah, I loved it.
It's been the year of Superman, I think, and I'm really looking forward to Lanterns. That's coming next year on HBO Max, and we all we know so far is that the status of DC Studios is that David Zaslav is believed to be staying as the head of Warner Brothers for the time being. DC Studios will be kept separately, and that they intend on leaving James Gunn in charge of this and for it all to play out as he intends. So unless you've heard differently, Chris, for the time being, the inside word is that everything that Gunn has prepared in the short term and possibly the long term, the Superman saga and his whole DC Studios plan of certainly chapter 1 over the next 3 years, this is expected to play out.
The rumor, there's 2 rumors running around. One is the one that he's remaining in charge. The other one, which if the Netflix deal does get finalized, is the one that personally I think I see the most likely, is that we'll be seeing yet another reboot of DC. And I think, and we discussed this at length when the film came out, but I think the crux is the Superman movie, which even though, we debated as to whether or not that movie was going to cross the $1 billion mark. I think the issue is for DC that had to cross the $1 billion mark. Superman is the ceiling, and the ceiling is now set at 600,000 or 600 million. So no matter which way you play it, it underplayed significantly to what their expectations were. And and Supergirl and anything else that's coming forward, it's not going to perform like this. Superman would be like their Justice League. There's no question about it. It was going to be the biggest movie. I don't see a lot of excitement for Supergirl. I will probably watch it.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Supergirl.
But I think it's done.
Chris, I have to tell you, what you just said to me is good news. If the seeding is 600 million, thank God. Bring the budgets down. Bring back a bit of bloody sanity.
Yep.
Well, that's when a reboot comes into play. And
they're not running to reboot anything, right? They're not. They're going to look like such schmucks, right? They are not running to reboot. But the whole idea of bringing back the Snyderverse, I thought was insane as well.
Well, yeah.
Right?
Well, nobody
There's
likes
no
never.
people trying to reboot anything.
That's never gonna
No,
gonna
that's
happen.
done.
No,
Yeah,
if the Paramount deal, it was
my biggest concern, and I think that which will play on my mind is for physical media and those boutique ranges that a lot of us have committed to buying, David. You know, okay, I think that the way that these ranges have still got a hold on us, the Doctor Who range particularly now, over a prolonged period of time, I'd say that the hype surrounding these releases has changed. I think it has evolved. It's not the same as it was at the releases before the pandemic. You can see the change in the marketplace, as well as obviously decisions that are being made by the people who make those. But generally speaking, it's remained, the train has remained on the tracks. The pattern has been established. It's a very defined product, and it's understandable that those of us who've committed to this range have got used to the idea, assumed that it will be completed. But the fact of reality is that when things happen that are this seismic, and yet it's not going to happen next month, it's probably not going to happen for at least another year, that we're going to see kind of Netflix and Warner's into a public partnership. But it's that physical media aspect. When one starts doing something, it filters down, it cascades really, really quickly. And I'd very much like to complete my range of Doctor Who releases and the other ranges that I've committed to.
Yeah, me too. And can I offer some hope to Chris, Harry, and you? And this is where I beg to differ with a point that the wonderful Rabbi just made some moment ago. When he said kids aren't interested, oh my word, are they interested, or are they? My son is 16, going to be 17 in January. After passing his GCSEs very well, he asked for a record player because it's cool. So I bought him a decent record player.
Records, they like that.
One of the Christmas presents he asked for, and I'll get onto the DVD point very quickly, I promise. One of the record player, one of the records he asked for at Christmas, and he said, in the typical teenage way, Dan, I'm sure you know this very, very well, teenage lad, you promise you won't laugh at me when I tell you what album I want. And I went, why would I? You're talking to a music lover of all genres across the years. He said, well, I'd kind of like Thriller. And I went,
oh, cool.
Really? And he went, yeah, I knew I shouldn't have said it. I said, mate, that's one of the coolest albums ever. Of course I'll get you that for Christmas if you really want it. Now, him and his mates, and this is quite prevalent throughout his school year and quite prevalent through stuff he's told me about. Him and his mates will get together once a fortnight, have a pizza at one of their houses, maybe get a few illicit cans of beer in, the way it goes, and they'll have a movie night. And they will get a DVD and one they've got off eBay, or one they've actually bought, or one that the parents have actually bought, and they'll have a movie night. And it's all films going back to the Future, all sorts of different films.
Is there? Do you think there's a because my son does this as well. Two of them do this. Do you think it's not a compulsion as such, but it's a desire? It's almost a yearning to touch something either of their own childhood or of a time past, where you can shut the outside world out, do something in a very sort of analog way with a few friends, open a box that's got a pizza in it and cut it up between you, throw slices around at one another, pour each other a drink, take the piss out of one another, watch a cheesy film, just the way that was done, almost in a kind of ritualistic way by youth in decades past. Because I think that kids have always tried to sort of recapture. There's an element of cheesiness, I think, about the appeal of it to some kids, but not all. I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all thing. And it can be lots of different things to lots of different people, in the same way that the entertainment on the discs can be as well.
Well, there's
absolutely. Sorry, Chris. I was just going to say, and a prime example of this was the other night where I got a panic text message saying, "Oh, we were going to watch this film, Ready Player One, around my mate's house, but he didn't He thought he had the DVD of it, but he knew it was on streaming, so they're going to watch it on streaming. Their Wi-Fi fucks up for some reason or other. I've just got. Oh, sorry. Their Wi-Fi knackered up, and Pete said to me, didn't you have a copy of Ready Player One? Can you drop it round to me? And I said, no, mate, you've still got it. You've still got my copy. So he was able to bike round to his house, which was just round the corner, pick up Ready Player One, and then go back and rescue the evening. And he said, oh, cheers, Dad. Yeah. I forgot I had it. And he said, oh, it's a great film, and I remember you getting me it. So it's just one of those things whereby it retains, as Chris has mentioned so passionately, it retains the fact that consumers still have that choice, and they still have the ability, when all the streaming that the rabbi loves goes down, or it's not working, or the Wi-Fi is a bit patchy, they have something that they can still watch, and their evening is still as planned. So that is the importance of it. And the kids, and my son's generation, Gen Alpha, I believe they're called, are actually falling in love with physical media a lot stronger.
That's really nice to hear.
Well, and I've been following this as well. There's actually a trend that I don't think any of us would have ever seen coming with younger Zoomers and Gen Alpha, and it's mainly males, but they're I think mainly because the culture is just flatlined, and it has been for a decade now. Put the political stuff aside, it's just like they don't have a culture, they don't have their own music because it's all just crap. And then en masse, their culture largely, and I see this with my nephew as well, is adopting the things that we liked, the 90s through the very early 2000s, is that, like, whether it be new metal, whether it be the movies that we're seeing at the time, Lord of the Rings, whatever, because they've grown up basically without any culture, because culture pretty much died around 2015. The monoculture was over, and it's been over ever since. But they're starting to discover the stuff from the 90s, stuff that actually had passion through about maybe 2005. And with that is this resurgence in the interest is like, oh wait, what is this? And like they because let's face it, they didn't grow up with physical media either, because it's been about a decade that's been out of the mainstream for probably over a decade now. It's like the idea of picking up this DVD case. This is so cool. You've got the artwork, you have the control. It's like you're physically putting it into the machine. Yeah. And this is something I don't think any of us, I couldn't have seen this. I'm like, really? Somebody being nostalgic for the early 2000s? But if you look at it, the fact that like there's nothing tying anyone together culturally since about 2015. So we've now had over a decade of no monoculture. And, young people kind of yearn for that, so they're gravitating to it. I think it's mainly sort of what their parents would have liked when they were younger, and it's that 90s through early 2000s period. And it's very weird that it seems to be specifically that time period, not the 60s, and not the 70s, not even the 80s. It's the 90s and early 2000s.
And people like, Chris, the rolling tracking, the slightly fuzzy picture. People are starting to talk about the slightly fuzzy picture, even of VHS. But let's argue that standard definition DVD, 480p. People talk about that with the kind of nostalgia now that I hear, lining up with what David was saying, when people talk about, oh, I love that sound of when the needle hits the vinyl. Oh, and that's that slight crackle. People are starting to equate that as the same thing. So it does worry me about the content itself. We've got a comment here from Matthew Pounder in the live chat watching on YouTube, and he suggests that streaming. So I think what he's pointing to here is that the content itself could be, as they need, there's so much more of it, and servers can only cope with so much, that streaming will lead to more AI slop rather than proper restorations. So that's the idea being that versions of this content, wherever they go, will be they'll sell it to us as being cleaned up and looking better than ever and being fit for purpose and fit for modern screens and all that kind of thing. But they'll slowly drift further away from an authentic representation of not necessarily the viewing experience at the time, Gary, but the actual material, the actual material itself, what is there, what is in its gift, and I think that's all that that audiences and devotees of stuff like Doctor Who, Blake Seven, Star Trek, stuff, all that stuff. That's all we really want. We don't need extra bits and pieces. It's bad enough that we have to think about having things like VPNs and passwords and all that bollocks simply to watch, to indulge in escapism.
I don't pop on a Blu-ray of 70s Doctor Who or Blake Seven intending to sit down and compare in my head how it compares to 21st century streaming. I think that is demented. I think that, and it's not restoration. I think that you have to take the content, and restoration, as you said, is bringing it as close to original broadcast, quality as possible, because that's the version that we grew up with. We don't want to see plastic. We don't want to be able to say, oh, but I can't watch 70s Doctor Who on my phone. Well, you shouldn't be trying to watch it on your phone anyway.
Exactly.
Totally.
It's like, get a grip. And so I don't know. I mean, I grant that in the course of trying to do this, if you accidentally or whatever kind of overcrank the AI, whatever, and then you acknowledge that that was a mistake, well, then just don't do it again. But especially when it comes to shows like, Doctor Who, Blake Seven, original Star Trek, whatever, fill in the show we loved from the 70s or 80s. We want it to be the best representation of what we originally saw, and what they're doing with all this AI garbage is not it. To Chris's point, I wanted to say, I agree. I don't think that the appeal of actually having a physical product in our hands that we can hold, we can open, we can put in the machine, we can hug, whatever you want to do with your physical media, will ever die out, because it's real. Streaming to me is not real. It's just air. Digital versions of comics to me aren't real. They're just, there's just something unreal. I like for me, it has to be real. It has to be tangible.
And I think, Gary, going to what you were just saying as well, there's that, and I can't stand AI. When something is restored, I want it to be restored to back as it originally was. And I think, you'd agree with me, because I know we both pretty much swear by this company. The one company which unfortunately could be flattened by this, as I said earlier, the Warner Netflix thing, is Arrow Video and Vinegar Syndrome to a lesser extent. But one of the reasons why in the course of the last few years they've gone from being just a niche, primarily horror boutique label, to being probably one of the most respected physical media, or even media companies possibly in history for physical media fans. Like, they've even outpaced Criterion. And the reason for that is they're the one company that got it right. And this is a new phenomenon. It's kind of sad that this is happening now near the end of physical media. But the reason why they are now so highly respected is they realized what we want is the best representation of these films as they looked originally. And the restorations are like, every release I put in, like, my jaw drops. I think tomorrow I'll finally have my Ninja Turtles. You'll see a few of them when we do the updates. But they got it right. We want to see these things as they were, restored in the best possible way, to the way they were when they were originally seen. They work with they'll, whenever possible, they work with the original director. They work with the cinematographer. We don't want to see this stuff manipulated, like what James Cameron did to his films, which is an abomination, or what they did to the Star Wars trilogy when that came out on 4K. This part of the love and why we love it, and for film fans, and I think I'm a film fan first, What I love, I don't like the look of digital. Yeah, I've said that often.
I get the impression,
I love the look of film. I want it to look like.
And I think I think that what your sensibilities are lining up with the mainstream sensibilities, Chris. And I think that where the mainstream is going and where the general public is going is actually in the opposite direction to this, but they're being sort of pulled back to where the corporate entities, where these enormous amalgamated companies kind of need us to go because they want to make more money. But I think that people's sensibilities are going in the other direction. I think there's a reason why. I don't think it's just because, I mean, for example, Lucy mentions here ebooks. Everybody had a Kindle 12, 13 years ago. Everybody had one of those.
I didn't. I hated it. I tried it once. God damn, it gave me. I hate it.
And yet, everybody you speak to now, it seems to me there are more books flying around than ever, in and out of secondhand shops, car boot sales. There's book barns, book cabinets in shopping precincts, things like that everywhere. Books seem to be back. Paper books seem to be back. And Lucy Meow here says people still buy books made from paper. I think that it's gone back to be. I think people have turned away from ebooks. People have turned away from digital tweakery. I think, so Star Wars is hitting its 50th anniversary in 2027, but it's the original version of the film that's going back to cinemas. And I'm sure that they'll make it. They'll have tuned it up. They'll have restored the original film. But they're removing all of the digital effects and everything that George Lucas dicked around with, and they're putting the pure film back in cinemas as best they can. And so I think there's something has changed, and that I can see why. I can even accept that these studios are going to change hands, that nothing lasts forever. In the same way that Rabbi said, that those old radio serials, you can't tune in to shortwave and hear them anymore. It's true, but even so, I think it should still be sort of led by the customer's nose. The customer wants to go in this direction. I mean, we live in a time where, for example, boutique releases of TV shows getting pimped out, like Old Gold Media have really invested in the Sweeney over the last 12 months for its 50th anniversary. The final season is coming out in a couple of months' time. I haven't bought any of these. I can't believe they put all of these out in a year, whereas we get the two Doctor Who releases a year, one Blake 7 release a year, and Old Gold, a startup label.
I had no idea this was out, right? I had no idea this was around at all. I would have loved this.
Incredible. Apparently it's beautiful as well, Rabbi. Real labor of love with this. And
do they have the movies on as well, you think?
I don't
Probably
think so,
later.
because I think the movies are owned by Studio Canal, but I could be wrong. You can get them. I think you can get them on Blu-ray, but not in this kind of remastered form. Maybe if anybody knows out there the status of Sweden.
That was gorgeous.
Anderson have invested a considerable amount of time and again TLC in this boutique release of Thunderbirds. I don't know if you guys have seen this, because a lot of the people who work on Doctor Who special features are involved in this box set. It's £89.99 and it's due for release early in the new year. It's very, very lavish. Apparently it's all been restored by hand as well. No AI. And Lee, problem being, who is in the live chat, I invited Lee on for the show. He let us know this in the comments. Remastered and restored by hand. Admittedly, there's only 32 episodes, but the screen time of that probably is the equivalent to not that much worth of Doctor Who, Blake 7, whatever. And yes, it's not cheap, £89.99 for this. But again, it's a niche.
Can I ask, how does this... I already have Thunderbirds on Blu-ray. What's different about this? I mean, why was it not restored last time?
I think it depends. I think it depends on which version you've got. They've remastered them before, but they've never been restored. And when they remastered them, they were remastered largely for television screenings internationally.
Yes.
So it could be they were remastered, you see, into widescreen because everything had gone widescreen, and it lost a lot of image. So with this release, they've gone back to the original assets. They've removed the widescreen aspect and they've restored. So again, if we can compare the before and after here. So the release, I don't know if it's every release because there's been several of Thunderbirds, but over the last 15 years, I think on the left is what we've had freely available in widescreen, so we've lost quite a lot of image area, and there's a fuzziness to it. Whereas the brand new Anderson version is there on the right hand side to compare.
Yeah, you know what? I actually pre-ordered this like months and months and months ago when it was first announced, and it's unfortunate that it kind of got delayed. It was supposed to be out before Christmas, but I think that, you know what? I really honestly believe that they're trying to. They did send an explanatory, email out, and I really do think that they're trying to present this as a definitive version, the best possible. Apparently, they've gone back to all the original film scans as it was when it was aired. They've done apparently a full a pitch shift correction across the whole series, things like that. And apparently, they, about a month ago, they did a podcast where they announced dates, which I always think is kind of, you probably shouldn't do, because apparently they got to the last round of the QC process and found, some errors and some minor issues, but they just refused to let go through. And to fix those details, pushed the timeline for the manufacturing back. So, everybody's up in arms now that they're not going to get it for Christmas, but they said that it's going to be out hopefully by mid-February at the latest. And it's going to be, I think, an amazing thing. And to Rabbi's point, I mean, I have the US version, as well, which I think right now is probably the best version, but that's kind of remastered from what the former best version was, without going back to the original, all the original scans and stuff. And this is the first time all of that's being done.
What else is on in the box set? What were the extras?
Masses of features and documentaries, Rabbi. It's very much like the kind of releases that you get on there are variations of the stuff that we get on the Blake 7 and the Doctor Who releases. Yeah. So there's various interviews and extra bits and pieces, and there's people sitting down and watching the episodes kind of behind the sofa style. So they've tried to be creative with the extras. There's a feature-length documentary simply about Thunderbirds itself, interviews, and I think there's commentaries on most of the episodes as well. So it's mostly new content that's supporting the episodes itself, because I think that Anderson acquired it from ITV Studios. They probably have still got some sort of arrangement with ITV Studios, but this is the second in a whole range that they're doing. I think the idea is to eventually release literally everything from Anderson, all in an impressive line, where they started quite recently with Space Precinct. I think that this came out last month. And obviously that's not anywhere near as prestigious as Thunderbirds, but they did it proud. You got Prince and various bits and pieces in there in the episodes.
I have that set. It's great.
And there's your Thunderbird set there, Rabbi. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 discs, a big book there, lots of prints and posters and whatnot. And it's a great big digipack.
But again, if they offer that to me on a thumb drive, I'll buy it.
I see your point.
Hate to hurt you all, but if they offered all that content to me on a thumb drive, I'll be like, yeah.
But this seems to be a common model, and I know that Doctor Who didn't originate this, but obviously to be putting out those releases over the best part of a decade now, and all of these other labels sort of getting on board with it. Hammer, a prime example. These releases from Hammer they're ridiculously out of my price range. Yeah. So I would never pay 65 quid for one film, but people have been buying these, and Hammer obviously. I'm glad that this brand is back and that it's found a market. If there's a market for it, and there are people willing to pay that in the numbers that they have allowed for, I suppose, in their business model, then who am I to complain? If they can get it, go and get it.
I mean, to Hammer's credit, and I actually will admit that I did get the 2 Quatermass sets, because I knew that if they eventually released Quatermass in the Pit, which is one of my favorite films, and I didn't have the other 2, my completist gene would go crazy. Yeah. But to Hammer's credit, they do release simultaneous multi-versions. Like when they released that Captain Kronos box set, which I think Matt got. But at the same time, they'll release just the film in like a plastic case, for a reduced price. They don't try to drag it out and say, well, wait a year and you can get it. They release all the multi versions at once, which I think is the way to do it.
Thunderbirds is out.
So they do the budget releases as well as the high spec ones.
Yeah,
yes.
They do. Clever. But the idea is that they have to sell out before they'll put out the standard release. But yeah, it's proving quite difficult to sell some of those titles out. So I would imagine they'll have to revise that model at some point. Matthew Pounder says, hope they do a standard edition. Of which, Matthew? Of Thunderbirds or of Hammer or just of all? Yeah, I mean, I want collector sets of certain things that I'm the biggest fan of. But obviously, when you're looking at something like Thunderbirds, the fandom for that is absolutely enormous for Anderson's stuff, Rabbi. It's never really got. In fact, it has regenerated several times over the decades. Notably in the 90s, I suppose, with the whole build Tracy Island thing on Blue Peter. It was a wonderful thing to witness. I was an adult when all that was happening, but I thought it was wonderful.
That was great. And then it came back again with Thunderbirds of Go, which I thought was excellent, frankly.
Well,
and
again,
to Rabbi,
same principle.
To Rabbi's question, excuse me, one of some of the things that are being included is those 3 special like anniversary episodes that they did for like 10 years ago. Those are going to be on physical media for the first time. There's like they put together new Super Mario Nation, like a new episode basically. And this is apparently the first time that Dan, is that picture you showed, this is the first time that the correct aspect ratio, the original aspect ratio, is being used.
Oh, is it the first time?
In because apparently all the other UK Blu-ray versions had the wrong aspect ratio.
They may have just sold this to me. Randy Howell says, as the DVD Blu-ray continues to shrink, the real danger is, just as you were saying, Chris, that manufacturers may discontinue making DVD and Blu-ray players, and the lasers can only last so long.
Exactly.
Robert Meyer Burnett.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Well, Robert Meyer Burnett is, as you know, is a pal, friend of mine, friend of the channel. He always says that he intends on buying 4 or 5 players in bulk the next opportunity he gets, so that he's got enough players to last him for the rest of his life with plenty.
That's a good idea.
Although there's a problem with that. See, here's the issue with the Blu-ray play. So, like I was saying earlier, there's sort of 2 aspects to this. There's the discs themselves, which I think most of us probably have enough to last us a lifetime anyway. But the second is the player, and I use my players fairly regularly. With my heavy usage, I usually burn out my players every 3 to 4 years. I've had some that haven't even lasted 2. I recently got a new one, which I don't know, maybe my final one. But even if you leave them in the box, they're going to deteriorate. And even in the box, they're not going to be good much past about a decade. So this is the problem. If the players are discontinued, and I'm not going to go into the detail that I did before, but I've clarified why that is not in a good place either. That is, in fact, in a very bad place as well. I think for us, even if we have these big libraries, they may be unplayable a decade after the last player is made, which sucks. I'm like, it's everybody says, yeah, I got my disc. Well, yes, you may have your discs. But 40 years from now, when you're 30 years from the date the last player was made, if there are players that are still functional, you're going to be paying thousands for them on eBay or whatever it is.
Or of course, you could just rip them onto that.
We don't want to. Those can degrade.
That's what you need. That'll sort you out. Put it on that, and you're okay.
I appreciate the efficiency of that.
They can degrade as well, though, and that's part of the problem.
Everything can. So can we.
But Chris, let me ask you.
Blu-ray is designed to last for longer than 10 years, which after 10 years we may not be able to play them. And the average hard drive and flash drive is only rated to be reliable for 5 years. that's your guarantee.
That's
Then
right.
after that,
Yeah.
it's kind of a crapshoot. So it's the same issue with the discs. But say if I don't know what's the oldest. Okay, I don't. One of the first DVDs I bought was The Mummy. I still have it upstairs, even though
Right.
it's like the Brendan Fraser movie. I bought my first DVD player the day that came out. So say I've had that DVD is 26 years old. It's been upgraded to Blu-ray and 4K in my collection. But say for instance it hadn't. There are a few movies from that period that have never been updated. Go was one of my favorite movies. I missed the Blu-ray on that. I bought that in '99. That's still there. Yeah. But with a lot of these, it's like, okay, my DVD degrades. Okay, my DVD stopped playing, because media degrades. Well, worst case scenario, I can go out and buy a new one or a new version. After your physical media is done, your hard drive has failed, whatever. After they're gone, they're gone. You're not replacing it.
Yeah, society will fall. Right, I can't tell you. The Globe Theatre closed down. Don't be wrong.
Rabbi, I want my pretty boxes of plastic coming right to my door.
Listen, I'm not against them. Right? I'm not against them. I'm just saying that
I like my pretty box. It makes me happy. I like putting my disc in the player.
Enjoy it. I got nothing against it.
I can enjoy it, but I'd like to be able to enjoy it for more than 10 years.
But
Rabbi,
let me ask you, Chris.
What was the rabbi saying then? Sorry, what did you say, mate?
I mean, I'm just saying, I just have all the same content as all of you, and it's not streaming. I have it all backed up on hard drives, right? But I would probably watch the streaming Mission Impossible.
And then there's that day that you boot up the hard drive, read disk error.
Everything fails. No. Everything falls apart. Have you not?
You're right.
Literally everything crumbles apart. Here's
the thing. We like
everything goes away.
Things fall apart. Yes, okay.
Yes, it's entropy. It happens. We're going to die. We are all going to die.
Ding, 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 and the round one.
No, I think that's a very good. Rabbi has a very good point. We are all going to die. Though, Chris, serious question. It seems like because I'm now actually considering. I actually think it would be a good idea, like for me to get another, 4K Blu-ray player, keep it in the box, because to me, an investment of let's say like $400, not that I'm tossing that money around lightly, but for like a 10-year investment as insurance, that the price won't go up. I mean, that's like, people pay regularly, like car insurance, it's the same thing. And to a one-time cash outlay to make sure that I'm not going to have to pay like $2,000 for Blu-ray player in the future seems pretty good.
Although my recommendation, Gary, is don't leave it in the box, because the one thing that would suck is if you buy it, you put it in, and they don't make them anymore, and you put it in, you find out that a decade ago you bought a defective player. What you want to do is test it for a month. But no, actually, Gary, even though I have two now new very good 4K players, at some point next year, I am going to get the Sony X700U. I'm going to test it for a month just to make sure it's fine. I'll use it as my primary player. Then it is getting taped up. It is going upstairs in storage, and it will not be touched again until all my other players are dead.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, that sounds sane.
Very dramatic. Rose Kirby watching on YouTube asks, how many discs are in that box? And what is the price? So I think she must be talking about the Thunderbird set. That does seem to have piqued interest of people who weren't aware that it was out. So it's a 12-disc set, and it's £89.99 at the moment. I think it's only available directly from Anderson at present, because it's a pre-order. I don't think places like Amazon have it yet. Gary, is that right?
You are. Everything you just said is correct.
Yes.
So, they intend on releasing every Anderson series. There aren't as many as you think, but there's still quite a lot. You're still going to, I think,
they generally have been timing they generally have been timing it to anniversaries. So for example, I think the last big one that they have left is Captain Scarlet, but that was, since that came out in 1967, they're probably going to wait until like 2027 for that big 50th anniversary. That's probably like that's the last one.
Yeah, of course.
That really needs to come out.
So keep an eye on the schedule and just see what pops up, I suppose, is the answer. So believe it or not, this all started with Netflix buying or about to buy Warner Brothers. Paramount are believed to be attempting a hostile takeover.
I'll tell you guys convinced me there's a good thing today. Like I was on the fence about it. It's the death of DC Comics. It's the death of mainstream movies. It's the death of cinema. I'm like, oh, this sounds good, baby. Plus, I get to watch The Sopranos without having to put a disc in. Oh, I'm in heaven.
Take me back to the VHS days with the radio and TV times. Cover 2 channels apiece, top-loading machines there, David. I knew where I was. Yeah, you had to have a head cleaner to hand, and you had to be a dab hand with the track in, but I think things were simpler. I didn't have to worry about EMPs or disc rot.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Brilliant time. And also, if you were lucky, you could tape something off the telly and get a public service announcement as well with it about... old people die or things like that.
Well, David, you could die from one of those. Electrical. It was metal. Electrical out. Yes. Put it in there. Zoom. You're dead.
Absolutely.
Everything could kill you back then.
You know what?
Canada
could do worse. Canada could do worse if they started to film a new series of those PSAs that Chris has been showing us. And at the end of PSA, there's like a smash cut to Rabbi going, "You're going to die," and end every PSA with that. I actually think that could be a lucrative side business for Rabbi as well.
I've been watching season 18 of the show that must not be named. Right, there's all about entering death. It happened.
Yes.
We're all going to die. Okay, here's your happy show. Merry Christmas! You're dead.
If you accept it, it's like we're all gonna shit. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna be. This is gonna happen to everybody.
Rabbi, you can put your brain into a robot. That's coming next.
No, because it won't be you.
They did it to Picard.
However, your hard drive will fail a lot before that time.
No, I mean,
I'll tell you something. There's no way.
Like Alien Earth.
Everybody just spam Rabbi with a little message saying "read disk error."
No, you were
never in danger of having a hard drive failure while this chick was on the clock. I think that's
absolutely not.
That's a really, really nice set of videos you've got there.
Yeah, she keeps them beautifully, doesn't she?
This needs to be arranged.
Movie. I can see everything that my heart
Sweeney
could possibly
needs to
desire.
play her in the movie.
I like her necklace. It's very nice.
Yes, it is very nice.
Very gentlemanly, David. Very gentlemanly.
Nice.
We probably will return to
logo on her shirt. That's very nice too. Everybody look at the logo. It says the videos, the video something.
Oh, there is a logo.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
We probably will return to this subject at some point in the future. But for now, let's move on to the next part of the show, I think. And it's still old times for old timers.
What are you doing? I'm watering the garden. I'm trying to clean the place up. That ugly Maureen bird coming again, eh?
She's not ugly.
What's this stuff?
Ajax Creamy Cleanser.
What's wrong with our other Ajax?
Peter, there is nothing wrong with our other cleanser. This is a special creamy Ajax that cares for modern surfaces. Just look how clean and shining it keeps our recently purchased refrigerator.
Purchased it fell off the back of a truck.
Finders keepers. I still use Ajax powder as well. You need something as powerful as Ajax powder to get right down to the dirt and clean up after you. But just look at that bath. Oh, you dirty old man.
Ajax will fix it, Harold. It's got double bleach.
Peter, a glorious home like ours needs both cleansers. Ajax Creamy for the modern surfaces and Ajax powder for the tough chops. And both on you.
Yeah.
Look, absolutely spotless.
And all for Maureen.
Ajax gets things ever so clean.
I still think she's ugly.
You're like a...
And we're all very nicely. Oh, that's the wrong picture. We're all very nicely behaving ourselves here in front of the telly, like good little boys.
I can see you turning out like Wilfred H. Bramble, Rabbi.
I would like that. I would like that ad went on for like 45 minutes. That's not
going to, because we're all going to die.
We are. Oh. Okay, there. Listen, have you ever been to Rome? It's got lots of beautiful buildings that are now ruined.
Everybody's going to die there too. Everybody's going to die. This is the death show. Why do anything? We're all going to die. I think I'm just going to put my boots on, go out in the blizzard, and step out in front of a truck because everybody's going to die. It's all about
but here's the thing, Rabbi. I don't want Rabbi to think that we're all ganging. I don't want Rabbi to think we're all ganging up on it, because I actually think there's a lot of truth in what he's saying. Because if you know that, then it teaches you to hold on to things loosely, right? Not hold on to them too tightly, right, Rabbi?
I disagree with that. It's all about material wealth. No, I'm poor. I don't have anything. I don't know. Yeah, we're okay. I accept it. I am going to die.
Chris, considering where you live, Chris, you absolutely should be believing that we're all going to
exactly.
die.
I was about to say that. I live in Canada, so my chances of horrible death are much higher than yours. Christ.
Yes.
Why stay there? It's awful. I mean, genuinely,
we've rather overrun. We've gone off topic, but I think it's been a great conversation. I think it's been a very valuable one for all of us. You're quite right, Gary. I can see exactly what the rabbi is pointing to, and maybe I should start to sort of rethink certain ideas I've got in my head, and perhaps not be quite as reactionary about certain things. But my God, it just feels so relentless, I suppose. The march of modernity and advancing senility is something that I am starting to worry about.
I think that we all have that time where it's like, okay, everything is perfect for me. I've identified the time when everything was perfect for me, and I really don't like anything that came after that. I will go with 2006. We had HD and Blu-ray had been introduced. So my end point in a few weeks will be 20 years old. I would be fine if nothing advanced after 2006.
That's about right. I can't argue with you.
I think he's onto something. I think that was, I think it was.
I'd actually say 1989.
We also had all of Girls Aloud still with us as well. So in 2006. So I'll go with Chris on that one. God
Blu-ray is my end date. As soon as I had my Blu-ray, I was happy. We had no smartphones in 2006. We had no Netflix. We had no streaming crap. Physical media was on fire. My country was in a death zone.
Randy Howell here has so he lives in Canada. And says, hang on, I've got the wrong comment. Graham. Oh. Hi, Graham. Sorry, Randy. Graham, that's the comment I wanted. He was lucky enough to pick up the Space Precinct Collector's box set there, the Blu-ray set, during the Black Friday sales. Deal. I had to shut down multiple windows on my phone before I blew a hole in a serious amount of money. There were so many sales. Everything I wanted all year, all of a sudden was drastically reduced in price. For like a 48-hour period, I had to close it all down. I didn't know where to start. I think, you know what? For the sake of my own sanity and my bank balance, I will just forget Black Friday happens, and I'll see whatever I see at the price that I see it when I can afford it, and that's that. But yeah, this is the part of the show where we usually dip in a little bit later than usual. But I think we've got some time to take a look at pick up some various bits and pieces. Gary, you look like a man who's very proud, a proud owner of something in particular.
All right,
give us a few.
This is going to go. Yeah, this will go fast. Random things since our last big physical media is I ended up getting the Superman film collection on 4K.
Oh,
this is the one with all the corrected ones that they had to fix. So
what do you mean fix? What they
I guess Dan's probably more familiar with each of the ones. There were like minor glitches on each one,
right?
Various technical problems that fans complained about, so they went back and addressed every one of their concerns and basically, fixed them all.
Yeah, but does it have both versions of Superman 2 on it? Because I know that there were two versions eventually.
There's a separate one for the Richard Donner cut.
Cool.
Let's see.
Have they spruced that up at all?
What now, Rabbi?
Have they spruced the Richard Donner cut up at all? I got the original release of it. But it just seems, again, I know we don't like AI, but we could certainly use AI to blend that whole movie together without problem.
I haven't rewatched that one yet, but I know everything. Everything is 4K, so I would imagine that they updated.
So it's got the four Superman movies and Superman Returns.
No, the four Superman movies and the Donner cut.
Okay, fine.
Isn't it called the Christopher Reeve collection or something? Or the Superman?
Well, the Superman film collection, 1978 to 1987.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
How many versions of Superman 4 does that? Because I remember I got the comic book and it was totally different from the movie. You had like another nuclear man.
This one isn't a re-edit, but there are just the deleted scenes on it.
Okay.
I mean, I know that there's that whole big, like the 30 minutes with the first nuclear man that they cut out, but I don't think we'll ever see that. Also, since we were talking about Anderson, I got this a while back. They've been releasing these Super Space Theater ones, and I got the new Space 1999 one, which is basically re-edited into movies. And they've added a new one. So there's like five kind of Space 1999 movies.
I think those are part of the same range of Anderson remasters, restorations, aren't they?
Yeah.
As the Space Precinct and the Thunderbirds.
Yes, exactly. For movies now, really quickly, one of my I really love.
I can ask you what extras from those Space 99 ones?
Well, you get there's 4 of the Super Space Theaters. They're restored. You get the new movie. You get there's the Italian version called Spazio 1999, which I think, and then of course all of the doodads they always put in.
But there's no like documentaries and stuff.
The tat, basically.
We like the tat, but there's no.
The documentaries are on the actual series. I would imagine.
Yeah, on that one. Okay, for movies, really quick. I got the new the 4K of The Final Countdown from 1980 with Kirk Douglas, Martin Sheen, where it goes back in time to World War.
I love that when I was a kid.
To Pearl Harbor. Yeah. So I mean, it has kind of a cop-out ending, but all the rest of it I really like. So
not Michael Sheen. Martin Sheen.
No, Martin Sheen. Yes. Get that right, David. You always get that wrong.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I don't know if I had this last time. The new one from Chris and mine's favorite.
No, you'd ordered it.
Oh, that was gorgeous.
And then I love this cover, which is different. So, and they've really gone all out for this.
What's on the disc?
The disc is there's a book, but the disc has I'm not sure what that design is. I guess the Con Ag logo.
Right, but like, is there a documentary about it?
Oh, I'm sorry, Rabbi. Let's see. New audio commentary, the archive audio. Yeah, there's new interview. 1, 2, 3 new interviews. One. Arrow goes for what they call visual essays, not really documentaries. Right. And so they have a couple of new visual essays there. I mean, it's a pretty packed thing if you like this movie.
Love that movie.
And then somebody mentioned Mission Impossible 4. I got Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning on 4K.
Right, that's one I chose not to buy. Right, that's the physical media because I like the movie. The trouble with that movie is the stakes are too high. Right, and they it's definitely better than the one before it, which was the worst of the series. But it
you mean the 7?
So what I did was I illegally downloaded it on 4K. Right, and I bought it on Apple.
La 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 la. I didn't hear that.
Look, once I bought
it, error.
If I ever lose the, they take it down. I've got my copy. Right, I've got my beer in the sideboard here. Yeah, but that's exactly the line I have with physical media now. That and Deadpool versus Wolverine and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, all of which I had a chance to buy this week, and I went, no, I'm not.
Yeah, I notice everything I'm buying is archive. I don't think anything I bought, with the exception of the Mission Impossible one, is like after like 2000. So 3 more I got. One is the Blu-ray release on Region 2 of the original
I'm
BBC
glad you mentioned this.
Chronicles of Narnia.
So this is the series that ran from 1988 through to 1990 on the BBC.
Yes,
wasn't it? Sunday afternoons,
exactly.
Brand new release.
With a new feature-length documentary and things like, Blue Peter interviews, breakfast news interviews. So I got that. And then
the Doctor Who collection people did that, I reckon.
Well, Tom Baker is in one of these, right?
He's Mother Witch, I think.
No, he was in the Silver Voyage of the Dawn Treader or the Silver Chair?
Yeah. Silver Chair.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
And 2 movies. Maybe the first anti-AI movie from 1980, 81, Looker with Albert Finney, and where basically it's like they're killing off the models after they do AI versions of them, and he kind of tries to solve it.
It's like you've scalped several films that have been in my basket for years. all of these sort of soft sci-fi thrillers between 1976 and say 81, 82. I've got a Final Countdown. I've had these sat in my watch list on eBay and on Amazon for months, because it's getting to the point now where stuff from that period is, I wouldn't say it's all I watch, but that tends to be the stuff that I enjoy.
That is all I watch. Yeah. And my last one, a horror movie, I think maybe because New Chris would be here. But again, I'm a huge Albert Finney fan. The Scrooge musical that he was in is my favorite Christmas movie. That's why I got this one. He's in this one. Right. And my last purchase is another Albert Finney one, which I think is really good. Wolfen from 1981, where they aren't really werewolves.
Never seen that.
But it's a good, solid thriller. And Gregory Hines is in this. And it's really more about kind of supernatural wolves kind of trying to take back their territory. And he's the police detective investigating it. Have you ever seen this one, Chris Wolfen?
No, but I just added it to my cart.
Oh, it's really good. It was based on a Whitley Strieber novel, and a lot of solid. Edward James Olmos is in this.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Although I will be seeing it now.
Well, if you see me looking down and to my right, it's because I'm scribbling this down now. So
yeah,
I'm like, whenever Gary's on, I like add things to my. I think I just added 3 of your pickups to my cart.
Well, I was on an Albert Finney kick this week, and so I thought, you know what, I don't have Wolfen, so this was
if all you people buy it, it'll make it more popular, which means it'll probably be put on illegal download sites. You will go, mate. You'll go. Yeah, that was
error. That's all for me this month.
It's been a modest few weeks for me too, Chris, mainly because a Blake 7 and Doctor Who set came out, and the price of those things sort of mounts up. But you've sent some pictures about your various things that you've bought. So do you want to tell us
Dan,
a little bit?
For anybody that's interested, if you're interested in season 1 of Dr. Nutty, I don't know why you would, but Amazon really wants me to buy it, so it keeps telling me. So it started at $80. They're right now trying to shill it for $30, and still nobody wants it. I wonder why that is.
That's quite a discount, isn't it?
His Barbie doll's been cut to half price as well, but the Millie Gibson one remains at full price.
Well,
you would have thought having a super queer Doctor Who loves sucking dick.
Sorry, Dan, I didn't mean to bring it to this.
You would have thought that.
Let's show my pictures.
No, this is all just coincidental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my pictures.
Sorry, Chris.
We have had
almost as if it's connected.
We have had a Doctor Who hall pass for this edition of the show, simply because I did feel that it did line up very nicely with that which affects the biggest franchises.
Do you want to hear me yell for an hour straight? I could do that.
No, I think we'll move on. I think we'll move on to your purchases.
Good.
So this is the first one from you. It's quite a new film, I think, isn't it? What an arresting cover. Tell us about this.
So this is Weapons, or because it's a Canadian release, Heure de Disparition. This is a recent horror movie. basically telling things from different perspectives, then just goes all nutty. This is one of the best horror movies I've seen in a long time, and even Matt Walsh liked it. Matt Walsh hates everything, so I would recommend this if you're looking for horror. It's one of those, it's not all about the gore; it's about the creeping you out. I would recommend it if you have not seen it. And this is a Warner release. Everybody remind me. I've just to show you how influential it is. I'm going to show you how many of these are Warner releases as we go through. This was not planned. These are my pickups from the last couple months. So Weapons, Warner release. Get it before Netflix takes it away. Next.
Was that a hit, Chris, in the theater?
It did. Yeah, actually, it did relatively well.
I think it was a modest success.
Yeah, it was a big film.
That Black Phone 2 and The Conjuring Last Rites all did relatively well. Now, this is also coincidental. Now, it was actually kind of funny because last week you were showing that off after stream, and I had this in my cart because it was on for Black Friday. This is the Region 1 DVD version of The Chronicles of Narnia. Also, just distributed by Warner Brothers. I haven't seen this since probably 1990. We kind of got them on PBS the same times you guys got them in the UK. So this is just the DVD version, but I don't care.
I'm sticking with my DVD. I've had this for 20 odd years. I only ever watched it once.
I got it for $18. It's got all 4 of them. I can't complain.
Yeah, it's I think if you watch a series all the time or you don't own it, then it's good to go for the latest version. And I would love to see that feature-length documentary that's on the new one. But I don't watch this in the same rotation that I do the Box of Delights. So I'm happy with my DVD copy as well. And you say that's Warner Brothers too, Chris? I forget
BBC distributed by Warner. Anything in Region 1 BBC is distributed by Warner.
Got your next one? I got another one here.
Yep. And okay, so I just picked this up. Also Warner Brothers. I'm saving this for Christmas week. I know it did well in the theater. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I'm going to give my own opinion. I love the first 2 Conjuring movies are 2 of my favorite modern horror movies. The third one is not great, but not as terrible as people made it out to. I will report back when I've seen this, but that's 3 for 3 so far, Warner Brothers. Okay, next.
I've never seen any of these, but I've been told that I'd really enjoy them, the Conjuring movies. And what on earth is this?
So this is actually Arrow Video. It's a 14 movie set. So this is Herschel Gordon Lewis. I will call him a smut peddler from the 1960s.
Sounds like the rabbi.
Rather controversial.
I'm not from the 60s, but I think we.
As you can tell, he's eating human parts. So he made. If you ever heard of House of or 1,000 Maniacs and things like that, that was him, or 10,000 Maniacs. So he has, his movies are how shall I put this? Somewhat graphic, featuring people eating other people. There's one really odd one involving a female biker gang. Very controversial in the 60s. I already had 6 of these movies previously released by Arrow. This is 14. If you want schlock from the 60s, like just grainy as hell. And also, it was only, I got this during the Arrow Shocktober sale. 14 just gory movies from the 60s for $40. So Herschel Gordon Lewis, smut peddler. Just take my advice. Just watch it. You have to watch it for what it is. It is goofy, very goofy. Some of these movies are considered some of the worst movies ever made, which also makes it awesome. So again, Arrow Video, now Blu-ray, just a combination of their previous releases. So not Warner. Okay, so there we go. So Warner did not peddle smut in the 60s. Okay.
Now this.
Another sad tale, possibly the last release from Rip Scream Factory. Rest in peace. I'm now referring to them as Rip Scream Factory /Shout because they're dead. Beastmaster from 1982, recent 4K disc. So I have to say for the not Warner.
Chris, this is the film that stars Mark Singer, isn't it?
Yes, and it's got animals, and the animals are very cute. So I'm looking forward to watching this, and this will be like my funeral dirge for the former Rip Scream Factory. But I already ranted about that for like an hour a month ago. So we're not so if you want to see why I'm disappointed, watch a previous video. But Scream Factory, it's kind of like the micro version of what might happen with Warner. So rest in peace, Scream Factory, and suck up, insert bad word, company that bought Scream Factory for their streaming service. Next.
This looks incredible. I think I have to see this.
Now, this is a rabbi movie if there ever was one.
I'll see this.
So this is
add that as his thumbnail.
So this is from our friends at Kino Lorber. Yeah, no, not Warner. And yes, this is a thing. Yes, this exists. Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. Ilsa also appeared in the recent Ed Gein movie. And there's like 4 movies in the series. This is the first one. I'm going to be getting all of them. So this is basically an entire movie of Ilsa doing very bad things to people. This is not a heartwarming tale. I'm surprised it's never been banned. So thank you.
Is it a fantasy film? Is it like werewolves?
No. Ilsa. Well, this is possibly a little bit exaggerated. No, Ilsa is a real thing. Ilsa the Terrible. She did very bad things during the regime of that not very nice man.
I believe I've heard of this movie. Yeah, it's a real thing.
You left out the fact this is a Canadian movie, Chris.
Of course, it's Canada. We're degenerate over here. But yeah. So this is a thing. This is a thing on 4K. This is a thing that was released by Kino Lorber, sort of the number 3 of the boutique labels. It is just as batshit as it looks, possibly more so. It is over the top. Ilsa is not a very nice person. And there are sequels, which are also coming out on 4K, which I'm also going to be getting. I think the second one is already out. I just don't have it yet. So, not Warner. Okay, next, Dan. So, everybody just take a look at Ilsa.
By the 4th movie, she runs a holiday camp, right?
Oh, she does all sorts of things.
No, I'm kidding.
She does all sorts of things, dude. And yes, the boobies are prominent, as you can tell. Okay.
I bet Quentin Tarantino. I bet Quentin Tarantino is a fan of those movies. You got quite a stockpile here as well. I noticed from are they all Arrow? Yeah, they are.
Yes. So I just threw all the Arrow 4Ks in, and all but one of these are Warner. So that's depressing. So beautiful. Red Planet. Basically, it was during the Let's Do Things on Mars. So there was Ghosts of Mars, there was Red Planet, and Missions to Mars. Basically, bad things happening on Mars. Then yes. Outland, which I am going to watch during Christmas week. I've been holding off on that. Also Warner. Then The Mask, which I'm also holding that off for Christmas week. Many people say the best transfer they've ever seen. Also Warner. Is anybody getting depressed yet? The next one, not House of Warner, or not House of Warner, not Warner. So this is a giallo movie from the early 70s, The House with Laughing Windows. So I have not seen this before. I don't think it ever got a Blu-ray release. It does have some DVD releases, but I know this is largely considered one of the best Italian giallo movies ever made. And this is another thing I like about Arrow. Even though they've gone mainstream, they know who their original audience was. So they still release items for this. It's probably not going to be the highest seller, but they did this for the hardcore Arrow fans like myself, who love Italian giallo, horror, crime, sort of depending on how you want to frame it.
You've kind of sold me on this. I'm sort of interested in this now. It sounds.
Look at the ad. There's a Arrow put out an ad on. It's available on YouTube. Showing off the restoration and just wow. So that one I'm actually watching this weekend. I actually just got that yesterday. And the one on the side, also Warner, John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness from 1995.
That cover is
never
amazing.
Seen that. Yes, beautiful, isn't it? Some of the covers are hit and miss for me. I quite like the Outland one. And I like the fact they've just gone with the classic one for The Mask, but the Mouth of Madness one, that's very, very striking.
It's and there's always alternate artwork, but I watched this again like every Arrow release. The transfer just, I it's impossible for me to say enough about how just thoroughly I am impressed by every transfer Arrow has done for every 4K release. And each one, they seem to refine their process a bit because each release in chronological order is slightly better than the one before it.
Okay.
Apparently the secret is in their encoding. I don't know what they're doing, but every Arrow release this year is a contender for best physical transfer or best physical media release transfer in history. So basically, this movie is kind of like an acid trip. It's one of the world is going to end apocalyptic things. Widely considered to be John Carpenter's last great movie from 1995. I originally saw this in the theater. I owned it on DVD. I had the Scream Factory release on Blu-ray. Bought it again on 4K. It actually would have been great if this was John Carpenter's final movie, but unfortunately after this we have Village of the Damned remake, which is one of Christopher Reeve's last movies, but yeah. Vampires, which is okay. Ghosts of Mars, which is good for a laugh. And unfortunately, his final movie was The Ward, starring Amber Heard, and it's unlikely to get a 4K release because there is no demand for it.
Don't forget Escape from L.A.
96. So yeah, In the Mouth of Madness, then Village of the Damned, and the atrocity known as Escape from L.A. Sorry, yes, I know I forgot something in there.
That was 96, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater. I didn't like it then. It is not very good. Okay, so here we are. So 4 Warner, 1 not. But once again, Arrow Video, thank you for not forgetting your base like Scream Factory did before they went to shit. If you're interested in just a taste of Italian giallo, if you can get it on sale. I have not watched it yet, but I've seen the previews, and I love Italian giallo, and I've known for years this is considered possibly the best giallo movie ever made. So I will report back on this one as well.
Is that the Laughing Windows one?
Yeah.
You know what, Dan, I was going to say, I was looking at that Laughing Windows one. That looks like a Vertigo comic cover, because a lot of the Vertigo comic covers were designed like that.
Dave McKean illustration.
The painted stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
That's it for that. So more depressing Warner. So what did I put next, Dan? I can't remember what I added.
The bats.
Oh yes. So I got this for Black Friday. This was $40 Canadian for all 4 films. Also Warner. I'm kind of glad I did. I really it's the first 3. Everybody loves Batman. Batman 89, Batman Returns. I like Batman Forever. I have never rewatched Batman and Robin on my DVD or Blu-ray versions of this, and it will collect dust in this, but the Batman films. So Rip Warner. Okay. What did I put next?
And you've got we've got seasonal there for your final picture.
Also Warner. Yes, both of these are Warner. These were Black Friday pickups. I think they were like $17 each, which in Canada is cheap. So Elf and Christmas Vacation. Christmas Vacation is one of my Christmas sort of standards. I have watched this film every year since first seeing it in the theaters in 1989. It's one that I've owned I've had it on VHS, DVD. I've been watching the same Blu-ray for 15 years or 16 years.
I always hated it, Chris. I never used to enjoy Christmas Vacation at all. I love the first 2 films, but over the years, it's really worn me down. And now I love it just as much as the first 2. And it's the Vegas Vacation that's the poor relation. I've become a convert to Christmas Vacation after 26, 27 years, 37 years.
Great movie. And there's so both Warner, and there's something about creaming crackers, Rabbi.
I'm saying sorry.
No, you gotta say it, dude. It's tradition now.
I am falling off the wooden hills of Bevershire. I am cream cracker, ladies and gentlemen. Even though actually I do like the Christmas movies, right? But I'm falling asleep.
This is what Charlotte calls pumpkin time.
I'm going to call this discreet failure time.
I was waiting for a subtle moment to edge in, but as you may know, I'm not good at edging. Anyway, with that,
Rabbi, before you go,
yes.
I managed to get a member of the clergy to buy a Blu-ray copy of Last Train to Christmas last week.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Your work here is done.
Yay!
It's like you're like the angel in Wonderful Life. You know, you got your wings now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for your company, Rabbi. See you next
I'm
time.
going to say goodbye.
Oh, you got me walking side to side.
Yes, the rabbi's fallen off, and so did she. Funnily enough.
I love that.
I still think that the girl in that exercise bike looks like Charlotte.
Yeah.
We won't ask Charlotte to try and attempt that. That would be rather harsh. Indeed, always have backups. Rabbi says Peter, which he's gone, I'm afraid.
And then those will fail too.
In time. Entropy is kicking in, suggests Randy Howell. Very harsh. Leave Elf on the shelf, says Matthew. I think people get sick of me saying how much I love Elf. It has become. Yeah. I think it has to be my favorite Christmas film. Really? Elf.
I've never seen it all the way through.
I have watched that. I don't drink anymore, but it was most fun either stoned off my ass or drunk off my ass. You watch that movie while high. You will laugh so hard you will die.
Chris, don't you think they missed a beat? Don't you think they missed a beat on that Christmas Vacation cover? They have the cat there, but shouldn't that have been just like a black outline of the deep fried cat?
I actually don't like that cover. I want the original blue cover.
Chevy Chase.
Stop. No more new covers. No. I still I'm going to keep my Blu-ray because it's got the cover on it that I like. That was on my old VHS tape.
We'll switch to. Well, what we'll do, I know we've got a couple more bits and pieces that you've sent, Chris. I think we might keep them until next week.
Oh yeah,
for our Christmas show.
I was going to message you that because the last piece was going to involve me rambling for a little bit, and you don't want that.
Chris, we've got plenty of time to ramble some more next week for our big Christmas blowout. So, how about you, David? Is this your first physical media extravaganza with us? I'm not sure.
This is my third journey with you guys, so I felt like for my third journey I had to get on and try and buy something that I've been wanting to get for some time.
We're ready to rebuke your choices, David.
Oh, I hope not, because unlike the rabbi, I prefer to buy physical media because you don't get the hard disk fail. Disc read fail, as we've been saying to him all night. God bless him. Yeah. But I went on to eBay because I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it on Amazon, and I wasn't prepared to pay 85 quid for it. But I taped it off air back in the day. But I bought seasons 1 and 2 of Vic Reeve and Bob Mortimer's Randall and Hopkirk Deceased, their take on it. Of course, it's got Tom Baker in it, and it was the one that was executively produced and run by Charlie Higson. It's got Amelia Fox in it, and I love the original. I mean, she was engaged to Vic Reeves at a time for the first series, but then broke up with him. And obviously part of the Fox dynasty, the acting dynasty. But I actually was a huge fan of Vic and Bob from 91 upwards. And although I love the original Randall and Hopkirk Deceased, it only ran for, I believe, 1 season.
Yes.
And
they all did. Yeah.
I just loved it because, I mean, what more can you love than Tom Baker playing a sort of godlike figure, all dressed in white and just being Tom Baker? And I have to say that I am really the only bad thing, Chris and Gary, as Dan will know, is that because we've gone past the end of November, it's now a lottery as to when the post office will deliver it along with the Christmas mail. And the mail service in the UK has degraded quite drastically over the last sort of 5 years. So I'm really looking forward to receiving this because I just think it's a great series. It's funny. It's
I like this.
there's not too much lampooning by Vic and Bob, and actually Bob Mortimer plays it quite straight, which is nice to see. And it's just a wonderful series, and it's a feel-good series. So that, and persuading a member of the clergy to buy Last Train to Christmas, which is a wonderful film with Michael Sheen, and there's lots of wonderful cast in that with Carey Elwes, is that how you pronounce it? And the gorgeous Natalie Emmanuel.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of hers. We talked about this last Christmas when it came out, but I didn't get around to seeing it then. I'm determined I'll see it this year. I mean, I told you about a week ago, David, that I was going to pre-order. I was going to order this, and I haven't. But I've made a note. I'm writing it now on my pad so that I don't forget to get this.
And I have to say, it's both to Chris and Gary. The Blu-ray is available. I think it's £16.99 or £15.99 UK price. And the wonderful thing about this film is that it starts off set at London Euston, where they're boarding the train in 1985. And there you see Michael Sheen as a sort of Peter Stringfellow club owner from Nottingham. And it's a time travel movie, but so, for example, every time he goes up a carriage, he goes forward 10 years. Every time he goes back a carriage from the 1985 carriage, he goes back 10 years. But what the director has done brilliantly is that he has changed the screen format and the filmic effect dependent on what decade they are in. And there is a beautiful sequence where they end up going back to the 1940s, shot in black and white, shot in Euston sort of film standard, with Euston film sort of close-ups and everything. So if you're a film geek and a film nerd, this also has that extra special sort of element to it. It starts off a bit like A Christmas Carol, but soon develops into him realizing that actually it's not all about him, it's about the people around him, and it's about their lives mattering more than his journey. And it lasts an hour and 51 minutes, which ironically is the fastest time you can do between London Euston and Nottingham. An hour and 52, okay. I think, is roughly the fastest train, but you can get there in an hour and 51, and that's the exact length of time of the movie. So it's very subtle on many different ways. Obviously it's got Michael Sheen in, not Martin Sheen, but it does have a cameo from the wonderful Hayley Mills.
Nowadays, David, I find that with a lot of modern films, particularly these sort of smaller things, what I find is that if they're released and people don't slag it off, that usually means it's probably quite good. And I haven't really heard anyone slag this off at all. But I did notice that when Christmas came around again, you weren't the only person to tell me about this. It's bobbed up. Oh, that's on. It reminds me of those things that I think Johnny Vegas made for a Gold channel a few years ago that was set on a coach. They were like Murder Mysteries or something with the chick out of Peter Kay's car sharing. And people just seem to enjoy this stuff. Robson Green used to do a show with Mark Benton called Christmas Lights a few years ago. Yeah. And that's another thing that just seemed to put smiles on people's faces, particularly at this time of year. And that's what this seems to be. And if it's got a fantasy bent and a hot chick in it, then I have to see this.
Absolutely.
This is for me.
It's also got a cameo in from Robin Asquith, John Thompson from The Fast Show and Cold Feet. And there's lots of
because I'm
cameos
not because David, I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Sheen going. I liked a lot of his earlier stuff. I loved him as David Frost and Kenneth Williams and all this sort of stuff. But his association with David Tennant makes me grind my fucking teeth. The pair of them are so irritating. It's untrue. So, but even so, this does look like kind of vintage Michael Sheen, how he used to be, not an insufferable bellend. So I could go for this. I'm down for this.
I'd watch
the Christmas spirit on tap. Yeah, I think this sounds like a good time.
I looked it up to see if I could watch it, but I can't. It's only Region 2, and it's not on any of our crappy streaming services. Apparently, once upon a time it was on Prime, but not anymore. One of these days.
Yeah, you from that filmic point of view and from that filmic style, I think you really would like it, Chris, as well. There are a couple of moments in it when you think possibly really, and looking back at the film, people who reviewed it, there are a couple of people who've reviewed it who clearly quite clearly don't get the concept.
I love the concept.
Yeah, I think it sounds brilliant. Lots of fun. Creative.
Their review hasn't really, because they're too thick to understand what's going on. But that's the way I've looked at it. But it's one of those things, because my wife and I watched it originally on recommendation, with Sky original film that appeared on Sky, and then the DVD release came later. So we watched it, and I was just sort of like, I'm not sure I get this. I'm not quite sure what's going on, really. I had to watch it. It's one of those films where you watch it again and you pick up little sort of things. And they've got retro chocolate bars. They've got retro fashions and sort of like the old Walkmans.
Over the last few years, when I weigh up what I can watch over Christmas, David, when I want to try something new, I listen to the people that I know and trust and like, such as yourself. I think, okay, if David says that's worth my time, then it almost certainly will be. Because you think, well, at Christmas, you want to watch stuff that makes you feel good. And Christmas is a very sort of condensed period of time. Yeah, I'm going to go for that as well. It's a condensed period of time, and I don't want to waste any time. So for me, I have to wait up and think, okay, does this sound like a good prospect up against me watching The Sound of Music for the 80th time? And I think this probably does. I think it probably does. It would justify me giving The Sound of Music the ear roll for a night. Yeah, go for that instead.
Absolutely, and I've got and just not to upset people on the physical media plane, I've also asked for from Father Christmas the Dalek Invasion Earth film on Blu-ray. Because that for me, my dad hired a video recorder from Radio Rentals back in 1984 when they were doing the Saturday morning re-showings on BBC One or BBC Two, and we taped it. And I, like you, with taping of the Five Doctors, Dad, I wrecked that tape beyond all belief. Watching it so many times, and for me, that Peter Cushing film and that version of Dalek Invasion Earth with the wonderful cast and the way it's all set up.
Weirdly, those films work beautifully at Christmas as well. I don't know what it is about them, both of them,
and I prefer that to the actual televised Dalek Invasion Earth.
A lot of people do.
I kind of do too. And you can never have enough copies of that movie, David. I think I have 3.
Yeah, I've got the VHS. I've got the DVD release, and this will be my 3rd copy of it. So
triple dip. Stephen O'Neill says this photo of all the DVDs looks like my bedroom.
Yeah.
Well, if that doesn't look like your bedroom, maybe this does. Yeah, it looks very much like about 2 or 3.
That is not how you stack DVDs. How you got to get it out, and the whole damn thing's gonna fall off.
No, you make it, Chris. Don't you? No, you can play Jenga.
No,
watch a movie at the same time.
You do not play Jenga with your DVDs. Oh, but I've got another recommendation for a Christmas movie. This will be added in my next one. So this is on my list. I'm going to get this. So the sequel to Ilsa, Kino Lorber just released this on 4K. So my other recommendation, which is now out, is Ilsa 2. So Ilsa Harem Keeper of the Oil Sheiks is now on 4K.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It's just
If
as
you
naughty
get
as the
Chris,
first one.
if you buy that set for Rabbi, he'll be your friend for life.
Oh
This
yeah,
week fail.
yeah.
Someone
But
in
no,
the live chat.
that hurts. That I can't look at. That is no. I just picture taking one of those out and then.
Someone in the live chat. Someone in the live chat earlier on when we were talking about your film there. What was it called? Ilsa. I've got it here.
She-Wolf of the SS.
Yeah, we were talking about that. And someone in the live chat mentioned the performer, Chesty Morgan. And I haven't heard that.
That's not a name.
Anybody remember? Do you remember Chesty Morgan, Gary?
No, but it sounds like somebody I'd like to collect like all of her movies. That would be just.
But Chesty Morgan was an actress. When I was a kid, right, my stepdad and all his mates used to all have posters of Chesty Morgan in their sheds, their garages, all that kind of thing. Would it be surprised you to learn that she was somewhat top heavy? She was.
Really?
She was very well blessed in that department. But she was very much in the vein of those kind of Russ Meyer movies, The Valley of the Super Vixens, that kind of thing. So Google Chesty Morgan, everybody, and I'm going to do that afterwards because I can't remember, because it was way back then, Chesty Morgan. It doesn't sound like a real name. I suspect it wasn't her given name, but it was the name she did business under.
No, you don't look at a cherubic, beautiful young baby and say, "I'm going to name her Chesty." You don't do that.
Unless you've got a really bad cough, maybe.
Unless you're not very well adjusted in the head.
Yes,
I would say that.
Yeah, this is our physical media night. There'll be lots more of this next week. But before we wrap up, I did want to tell you about a couple of things that I've got, because I haven't bought that much, to be honest. But I wanted to.
Yours, Dan. Actually, yours are the ones that I look forward to most often because I want to see what you got from people's boots.
Well, I haven't, because that's all sort of closed down now, but I have got a couple of bits and pieces. So first of all, I wanted to bring you up to speed on this. I think I just bought this when we last spoke. This is Better Man, the Robbie Williams biopic, where Robbie is a British rock stroke pop star and celebrity, hugely popular recording artist in Britain and several parts of the world, everywhere except North America, it seems. Australia, China, he's big all over these places. He's had rather an up and down life. And I bought this film originally to watch over Christmas, but I had a rough week a couple of weeks ago. A friend of mine had passed away, and I wanted to watch something that would cheer me up. As it turned out, this didn't necessarily cheer me up. It's quite a long biopic, and it's very, how can I put this, charged and difficult to watch in places. Considering that the lead actor is a CGI monkey, this film is absolutely brilliant. It's got enormous depth. The special effects are extraordinary. The music is incredible. This is really worth your time. It's not the feel-good movie I was looking for, and it's not the kind of musical biopic. I don't think it's up there with music biopics. Some sequences are astonishing. In other areas, I think they could have done more with that. But as a film, my God, this is good. People took the piss out of it, blind at the time, and just like various other movies, just like Last Train to Christmas, bit by bit over the months, everybody has shut up about this movie once they've actually seen it. Really worth your time. Ideal to watch over Christmas, as long as you have some Kleenex perhaps to handy in the nicest possible way. Also, Chris, I bought this because I thought, now I'd never heard of this, but I saw this in a second-hand shop for about 25p. Now, I've never heard of this, but I suspect you have. Now, it's a recent movie because it's got the new certificates on it. It's a Brandon Cronenberg movie called Possessed. And,
that is an acid trip.
In a good way?
It's very strange. I liked it, but I'm weird myself. If you like the ganja, have the ganja with that movie. He is very much like his father as a director, just out there. That is an experience.
Well, that's what caught my eye. Obviously, the director's name, realizing that it was David Cronenberg's son. I'm quite a fan of Cronenberg. He's made some of my favorite genres.
The weirdness is genetic, very, very genetic. They're a very strange family that make the wonderful bizarre.
So that's Possessed, which I think must have come out quite recently. It's what else have I got? Okay, so I'm also one for picking up sitcoms, classic sitcoms, as cheaply as I possibly can. And recently, now there's been several that have been in my bucket list for quite a time. I've got all the classics like Are You Being Served, Keeping Up Appearances, One Foot in the Grave, all that sort. But now and again, there's those one. You know what? I was never a big fan of Hello Hello, so I haven't bought that. But I'm tempted to give it. I'm tempted to give it a look again because my brother's a big fan. But now I'm down to the ones that I haven't got are the things that were on for either one or two series that have largely forgotten. And a prime example is this, which I finally saw at a car boot sale. This cost me £2, which I thought, oh, should I? Because it might be terrible. It stars David Essex. It's a 6-episode sitcom from the late 80s called simply The River, where he plays, surprise, surprise, a gypsy. He always plays a gypsy. So it's set at a lockkeeper's cottage, and he's a lock-keeping gypsy. And it's a sort of a romantic comedy of sorts. I can't remember the name of the girl who plays the leader, Sarah something or other. But back in '88, so when Sylvester McCoy was Doctor Who, I really enjoyed this. They only ever made 6 of them. David Essex has made.
Never heard of it.
The River, starring David Essex. A very silly situation comedy, as I remember it. Camille Kaduri stars in one episode. And there's various other sort of typical British character actors and actresses. Just 6 episodes. So I thought I'll give that a go, and I'll probably watch that over Christmas, I would imagine. What else? Oh yes. Now I bought Prey, the Predator sort of prequel film from about 3 years ago, because I was going to see the new one. I thought, well, I'll go and watch that. I know it's not a sequel, but I thought it's produced and written by the same guy. So I'll go and watch Prey, get myself up to speed on what happened then, and then I'll go and see Badland. But I've never watched Badlands. I haven't managed to get out to the cinema. I wouldn't say I've forgotten about it, but before you know it, the weeks have gone by. But yes, I will certainly rewatch this over Christmas. And by that time, I would imagine that Predator Badlands will probably be streaming somewhere or another.
Yeah,
I wouldn't at all surprise me. Also, adding more to my collection. Let's have a filter around here, see what I can find. Okay, what else? Oh yes, so this is the other one. Now, it's a shame the Rabbi's gone because I know he's quite a fan of these films. I've only ever seen the first. Which ones have I seen? I've seen the first 2. But they've kept on making these, and I've just lost track of them. And I saw a set of the first 4, I think it's 5 now, of the Monsterverse or Monarch movies on Blu-ray. This was knocked down. It was half price, down to £12.50 for 4 films on Blu-ray. So you get what do you get? Godzilla, Kong Skull Island.
Oh, you're going to love Brie Larson in that one.
Well, she used to be gorgeous, Brie Larson, when she was a bit more well-adjusted, when she used to wear singlets and run around in tight shorts in the jungle. So yeah, I'll have some of that. I have seen that one, but I haven't seen the rest. I haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters or Godzilla versus King Kong. So this is Christmas fare for me. I'll probably be binging these and get the next one too. But I thought for £12.50 on Blu-ray, I can't go far wrong with that. Even if they're terrible,
£3 a piece. That's pretty good.
It's worth the price of admission. And that's pretty much where it ends. What else have I got here? A couple more things.
It's a lot better. You don't have to rely on BBC's Christmas Day schedule now, Dan. You can just.
What about the 70s one with Leonard Rossiter?
The 70s one with Leonard Rossiter. What in King Kong?
No, the comedy one that you said you'd bought.
Oh no! I just said that as an example to tell you in a private conversation.
Sorry.
No, I didn't mean I had bought that. I do have.
Sorry.
That. No, he's talking about Rising Damp. We were talking about my buying habits generally. No, I was just giving that as an example.
Oh, sorry, mate.
I had Rising Damp ages ago, but so I pick away at those sort of comedies. But most of my buying over the last say 3 months, I think, has been the Doctor Who and the Blake 7 sets, sort of waiting on those.
Me too.
But I do want to give you the update on this. So my 2-year trek so far through a particular TV show, and every time we do a physical media show, I always swing back around to Dallas, don't I? Of course I do. So I think it might be interesting to how things were going so far. So if you remember, when we last spoke, Gary, I was somewhat distressed because JR's younger brother, Bobby, had been run over in a car by his sister-in-law, who was in love with him. Apparently, you run over people that you're in love with.
You do that.
In Dallas.
Yeah, that happens.
And
Did
Bobby
she have a
expired.
seatbelt on?
Go ahead.
I think she did. But Bobby expired right before my eyes. But in the episode I watched last night, there was another car completely exploded, and then Ewing Oil itself exploded. Next thing I know, the leading lady, the fair Pamela Ewing, played by the gorgeous Victoria Principal, she wakes up, goes over to her bathroom, opens a shower door, and who stood there? Only Bobby Ewing. You could have knocked me down with a feather. I couldn't believe my eyes. Extraordinary. So I've just come to the end of the dream season, the notorious dream season of Dallas, which has been great fun. It's been rather arch, and I have missed Patrick Duffy not being in it. A lot of hardcore Dallas fans, believe it or not, there is a Dallas massive out there, a dedicated fan base, who say that the series was never the same after this. And from what I remember from watching it when I was a kid, that's probably true. I think it goes quite camp, and it's difficult to take a series seriously once it pulls a stunt like this. But I'm continuing to have a lot of fun with Dallas. I've got 5 seasons left, I think, Gary.
And you know, Dan, you call it a stunt, which it was, but I mean, what else are you going to do if one of your leading men decides he wants to come back? But it's amazing that wait, that was that early 90s? Or are we still in the 80s for that episode?
1986, believe it or not.
86. So basically almost 40 years on, and it's kind of staggering to think about like the cultural, how much the events of that episode and the imagery of that bled into pretty much every other cultural corner in the last. It's a trope now. Bobby in the shower. Everybody immediately knows what that means.
But the thing is, the series have been on. The series have been on for 9 or 10 years at this point, and people are probably right that it was never the same again. But 9 or 10 years is a good lifespan, and the truth of the matter is, Patrick Duffy wanted to leave, and so they let him leave. You can't force people to stay in whatever. But they did the right thing getting him back. The character was missed on the show, even though there were other actors who had stepped up quite well. You could see there was something missing. They did need him. So they definitely did the right thing. It just proves that everything does have its time, and actors can't be tied down to the same project indefinitely. Watching it from the beginning in the way that I have has given me a sort of a new understanding of this show, an awareness of how good it was, why it lasted for so long. And obviously it's a chance for me to revisit my childhood as well, and the show that I watched every week with my nan. All the cliches were true with my nan, and eating a Muller Corner yogurt usually, that kind of thing. So lots of happy memories.
And you know, it does go to show. It does go to show, Dan, like for your personal experience, you said, well, you feel it wasn't really much the same after that, even though it went, like 5 seasons more.
Yeah.
And it shows that even when, for most shows, when they take a turn, it's not like you don't go from the heights to the bottom right away. Normally, it's kind of a gradual decline that generally takes a few seasons, and then the networks say, okay, gets to the point where it's like, okay, no, we need to end it. It's not like, you know, from top to bottom, except for something unusual like Twin Peaks, where once you find out who the killer is, everybody leaves. You know, nobody, all the viewers go. It's mostly like the Dallas thing, where it's just kind of there's still enough people watching it over a few more seasons to justify kind of keeping it going for a while.
I mean, the last Dallas episode that of the original run.
Don't spoil it, David. He's still watching.
It's still with I'm not going to spoil. I'm not a spoiler. It's still. I still remember it today. I think it is one of the best ways that I think it was a brilliant way that they ended the series. I think it was amazing. I really do, and I still think it's a wonderful piece of television.
Yeah,
I didn't spoil it.
I'm really no. I've obviously I watched it through to the bitter end back in the day, and I enjoyed the renewed series as well. When they brought it back for 3 seasons around 2011, I thought it was a fantastic show. I couldn't believe it when they took it off. But again, you had a similar thing that Larry Hagman died sort of halfway through making it,
right?
And so people stopped watching it. So I can see why they did, because it did lose something. But for the moment, I'm reveling in it. I have yet to pull the trigger on the Dynasty Giant box set, although Amazon keeps sending me a link and a discount for it. From what I remember, I think I said this the last time, Dynasty was largely aimed at women. It was mostly about the women and about the clothes and the jewels, and it was far more romantic as I remember it. Dallas at its best is a show for everyone. There's plenty for everybody to enjoy it.
I think I whenever you bring this up, Dan, I think it's inevitable that you're either going to go for Dynasty rewatch or Knots Landing. One of those two. I'm not decided yet what it's going to be, but I know it's going to end up being one of those two.
I mean, my grandmother, she got us into all of it. It was Dallas, Dynasty, Knots Landing, the Colbys, Falcon's Crest, Murder, She Wrote, obviously.
Falcon Crest went on a long time. That was on like 14 seasons.
Yeah, and then with the Aussies, it was the Sullivans, the Young Doctors, Sons and Daughters, and of course the zenith of all of them, Prisoner Cell Block H.
Oh, now you're talking. What a fabulous show. I did look into acquiring Prisoner Cell Block H on physical media for my collection. It was the biggest box set. Obviously, there was 900 episodes of that. It was enormous. And I was still tempted to go there. I was still tempted to get it. This has been our latest physical media night here at the Spacebook Live, taking in all manner of out there entertainment as always, and covering a breaking news story that has a massive effect on all of entertainment in the long run, as well as show and tell there on our various pickups and pre-orders. More to come. So make sure you're tuned in and subscribed for what's coming next. Okay, the final straight, I think, and another word with him.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a goddamn Bruce Willis movie. So a yippee-ki-yay to all of you motherfuckers. Good night!
Mate.
There you go.
Playtime is over. Sad to say. What a weekend. What a show. What a conversation. I don't know if I feel better or I feel worse after what the rabbi said. It'll take some getting used to. I mean, yeah. Oh, I don't want to sink into my rocking chair just yet and sort of start complaining about the kids being on my lawn, Gary. That's my problem.
Dan, I think you need to quickly grab the audio track for "This Is the End" by the Doors and play that over the closing as we go.
Oh. Where did all the years go, David? That's what I want to know, mate. Where did all the years go?
I don't know. And I still think that physical media has there is light there for it, and I honestly don't think if that is the situation as it is in the US with the administration's feelings towards Netflix, the Hollywood's feelings towards Netflix taking over Warner Brothers. I am hoping that doesn't the deal as it is doesn't go through, because I'm still a believer that in consumer choice, and I do believe that if enough consumers are vocal enough, that they have the power to decide what survives and what doesn't.
Have the power.
Exactly.
If we will it, we will get there. Peter Harrington asks, are you going to watch Knots Landing? Knots Landing was always on after my bedtime when I was a kid, but I have seen the first 3 episodes and I really enjoyed it. It didn't compel me quite in the way that Dallas did, but I really did enjoy it. And you're quite right, the theme tune is absolutely brilliant. There's one really hot bird in it too, which is probably going to be enough 70s chicks when they used to wear the knee-high leather boots. And the soft sort of silk. Yeah. Jiggle TV, they used to call it, didn't they? Jiggle TV in the era of Charlie's Angels. Chesty Morgan,
No.
as I understand, I'd be surprised if she ever appeared in Knots Landing, but it ran for a long time. So
I think you're talking about Nicolette Sheridan. She was the young, blonde, hot woman in that. Is that a lot of beautiful women? Donna Mills?
Usually I go for the brunettes. You know, I like dark hair and dark eyes.
Okay.
Now and again, blondes do surface that catch my attention. Sydney Sweeney being I suppose the prime example.
Heather Locklear from the 80s still gets
Heather Locklear. Yeah, I liked her too. TJ Hooker. My favourite was Heather Thomas from The Fall Guy. Loads of birds called Heather, basically. They were called Heather. They were probably okay. Archer Collins says, in my recollection, Dynasty had the more attractive women. Catherine Bella. Yeah, I did love Catherine Bella. She was beautiful. And Heather Locklear.
Pamela Sue Martin.
I liked her. Now, when I was a kid, she was Nancy Drew. She used to play Nancy Drew on the telly.
Yep.
So when I saw her in Dynasty, but I didn't start watching Dynasty until she was about to leave. So my big crush was Emma Samms.
Emma Samms is the one who went into the UFO.
Yeah. Mainly, I don't know what it was about her. She got bigger eyes and a bigger chest, which, I'm sorry, I'm shallow. What can I say? So it was Emma Samms for me. Vinegar Tits says Peter Harrington. That's obviously a reference to the original Prisoner Cell Block H and the revived Wentworth series from Pete McTighe, which I can't recommend enough. That's Pete McTighe when he remade Prisoner as Wentworth. How he sort of reinvented it. Because obviously Vinegar Tits, Vera Bennett in the original show, had a face like, she had a face like granite. She was the last person you want to snog. But in the remake in Wentworth, she was gorgeous. She was still a Mardy cow, but she was the kind of woman who you wanted to snap her out of it. She was gorgeous. Okay, we've got
Is the freak still the freak in Wentworth? Sorry,
it's the freak still. They do introduce the freak, but she's not. You know what? Pete's big mistake with Wentworth, in my opinion, was recasting and reinventing the freak. Of all the characters in that show, Joan Ferguson, the freak, was the one that he should have just left alone, because Maggie Kirkpatrick was such a striking figure of a woman that it was just impossible to recast that part. It was the soap equivalent of trying to get somebody else to play Indiana Jones or something. She was too iconic, so they do get a new actress to play her, and she's good enough. But she just doesn't fill the size 12s sufficiently. Everybody else is really well cast now. There you go. You did ask.
I love Joan Ferguson.
Thank you for all the comments, everybody. Yes, we've gone on. This is one of our longer shows, I think, but there was a lot to talk about, a lot to geek out about, and there'll be more coming next time. But not Sunset Beach. I don't think I've ever seen that. I never saw Falcon Crest.
Oh, Sunset Beach was the daytime soap opera. It had a like a doll that had been changed into like a little person. It was weird.
Small Wonder?
No, that was the robot girl.
It was the android kid. Yeah, that's good. That was. Yes, I mean.
Sorry, I was going to say, if you like your brunettes, Dan, you need to start rewatching The Young Doctors. Yeah, there's some nice nurses in there.
The Young Doctors. I mean, I could talk about. You don't want to get me started on the Young Doctors. a seminal show from when I was a kid. I can taste the lemon curd sandwiches that my mother used to make when I was watching that. But I did wonder about Sunset Beach. Could that be a sequel show to this? The War Between the Land and the Sea begins tomorrow, everybody. I know Chris is probably counting the hours for this, but I'm going to mention the fact we are covering it on Type 40 Live, everybody. So make sure you're subscribed over there. Turn on your notifications through the cloister bell. You will be getting it both barrels from us on the War Between the Land and the Sea. The much awaited, certainly much talked about Doctor Who spin-off that begins later this weekend. That's over at Type 40 Live, Rumble, X, YouTube and Facebook as ever. But yes, so veg out and watch that or watch something that you're definitely going to like. I don't know, because there's a lot of it out there in Forever Land, more than we could possibly imagine. Chris Chris, I can't imagine what the rest of your weekend's going to be like. I mean, obviously, you've got to decide what you're going to be watching. That's obviously a major thing, but you've obviously got a lot on your mind. What with the situation with Frank? Because obviously, if we think that Netflix getting Warner Brothers is a bad idea, I think Frank, he went considerably bigger than that, didn't he? He's plunging us all head forth into the next Armageddon. So whatever Netflix is doing, really, they're going to wait in line because Frank's fucking everything up way bigger, isn't he?
Hi, everyone. Are you ready for this week's Frank update? So, as we've learned previously, Frank, after running away from the creepy people that were forcing him to wear a dress, created a cult, accidentally conjured Satan, was briefly possessed by Satan, then Satan realized he was possessing Frank, and then fully manifest, and then Frank was trying to save his image, but it did not end well for Frank, so he decided to join forces with Satan. So right now they are still tearing their way through the other side of the world right now, setting everything on fire. And as part of, as a thank you to Frank for betraying humanity and goatdom, Satan has relieved him of that stupid short haircut he had, and now he has whatever the hell's going on there. So Frank basically betrayed us all for a haircut. So thanks a lot, Frank. So yes, we are. We're probably still all going to die, thanks to Frank and Satan.
It looks that way.
By
and the rabbi.
So we won't have to worry about the Netflix thing. And I'm also blaming Frank for my current situation because I'm in the middle of like a blizzard. And a snowplow went by about half an hour ago and dumped snow in front of my house, as they do. And basically, you have like an hour to shovel this up before it like literally turns to hard rock and you get stranded in your driveway. So I'm having a very bad day. So yes, as soon as we're done, I literally have to run so I can shovel that up. Yeah, today sucks. But Frank's an idiot. He's betrayed us all. We're all going to die. We'll have to see if Frank ever comes to his senses and has a moment of self-reflection. See, he's even made Gary disappear because Gary is just so disgusted with Frank.
He's heading for the border.
He's coming to save you. He can't. Like what? He just. I can understand. You don't want to see Frank on your screen. The guys send us all to hell. So yes, have a good night, everyone.
He's even coaching the England cricket team as well now.
A quick plug for Archer Colin here. You might be interested to know Colin is covering Genesis of the Daleks on the Wayfarer project. I don't know what that is, Colin, but I hope you have a brilliant time doing that. And Merry Christmas to all of yours. You and yours, I mean. Graham, same to you. Merry Christmas, Graham. Hope you're going to be here over Christmas week as well. And everybody else who stayed with us, various moderators, Garbage and Darren and PD Rich and Lee and everyone else. Thank you so much. Not Banksy. He's also in the live. I didn't see you, Not Banksy, but I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you're going to stick around because, yeah, Christmas is coming. I've got quite a lot to do between now and Christmas. I don't mind telling you, Gary, I've got several things. I've got to get my tree up. Yeah, I've got to get everything else down, like the baubles and bits and bobs. Get the tree up. I've bought for some people, but not for others. So I'm sort of getting there. It's not my worst showing so far, but I am behind the curve, sadly.
Well, you still have 3 weeks. Yeah,
you say that. But I'll wake up tomorrow. It'll be Christmas Eve. I could get on the last train to Christmas from David's
we don't want this. You never want the season to go too quickly. You just kind of like to enjoy the whole thing.
Yeah.
No,
don't worry. I was going to say 90 minutes tomorrow night. They'll go very, very
slowly.
I
mean, look, if we survive the next like 24 hours, then it's a cakewalk after that.
Ask Frank.
Oh, okay. So again, thank you for joining us, David. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Some great picks from you there. I've got to get that film in my life, definitely. Chris, a great showing as ever. Thank you so much. I know you've got a scoot as well, but we'll see you next time for the big Christmas blowout. I don't doubt. Gary Akers, I'll probably catch up with you in a couple of days to talk Doctor Who, and various other bits surrounding all of that. If we've got the stomach for it, I suppose we'll have to wait and see, won't we? But this has been the Spacebook Live. Let us know what you think of all of that, as always, in the comments, and we'll see you out there somewhere soonish. Bye-bye.